Chapter 509, You Heartless Man. When Master Xianyuan heard Yun Chujia's heart-wrenching screams, he had no choice but to brace himself and walk over. Young Master D, please give me some face. If you have something to say, let's talk it out. Put little Jiu down first. Di Baiming was really angry just now. Now that he had calmed down, he was also somewhat regretful. Seeing that Master Xianyuan had come over to persuade him, he took the opportunity to put Yun Chujio down and remove the shackles. Gigolo! How dare you hit my little butt? I will never talk to you again. Yun Chujio wiped away her tears and ran away crying. Master Xianyuan sighed when he saw the situation. Young Master D, little Jiu has a temperamental character. She just finds those words interesting. You're too harsh on her. Di Baiming nodded stiffly. He did not know why he was so against Yun Chujio reading those books, especially since Xue Wuji had been sticking to Yun Chujio these days. He felt very uneasy and wanted to firmly control Yun Chujio, only then did he feel at ease. Little Jiu was really sad just now. I think she went to the stream. Quickly go and persuade her. Master Xianyuan was persuaded when he saw the regret on Di Baiming's face. Di Baiming cupped his fists at Master Xianyuan and then headed toward the stream. Master Xianyuan shook his head. Little Jiu and young Master D were both people with strong personalities. Former Little Jiu always tried to curry favor with him, so they got along very well. Now, Little Jiu was beginning to show her personality, so these two people were bound to face some trouble. When Di Baiming rushed to the stream, he saw Yun Chujio continuously throwing stones into the stream, cursing as she did so. Gigolo! Bastard! You actually spanked my little butt. I won't forgive you. I won't pay any more attention to this bastard who spanked his wife. Although Di Baiming felt a little regretful, the knot in his heart had not been untied, so he just stood by the side and did not say anything. Yun Chujio originally saw Di Baiming coming over and thought that he was there to persuade her. Seeing Di Baiming standing there like a wooden pestle made her even angrier. Humph. Some people eat carrots and worry about nothing. Why do you care what I read? In the future, I will not only read, I will also write. I have already thought of the title of the book. It will be called The Story That My Husband and I Have to Tell. Di Baiming was so angry that he gritted his teeth. He endured it and did not say a word. Humph. Not only will I write it, I will also add illustrations. The illustrations are all of naked goblins fighting. When the time comes, I will definitely sell it for a lot of spirit stones. Di Baiming could not bear it anymore. Black thing. You are spouting nonsense. How dare you? What? Why are you staring at me? Do you still want to hit me? Let me tell you, Gigolo. If you dare to hit me again, I will jump into the river and commit suicide. Yun Chujio said angrily. Di Baiming looked at the 2-foot-deep stream and could not help but sneer. Black thing, do you think this stream can drown you? Yun Chujio pouted and howled again. Good. Gigolo, you actually want me to die. You heartless man, you heartless bastard. Get lost. I don't want to see you ever again. When did I say I want you to die? You're the one who said you wanted to jump into the river and commit suicide. Di Baiming saw that Yun Chujio was sobbing, so he held back and did not go forward to hold Yun Chujio in his arms. Yun Chujio was almost sobbing, but Di Baiming still did not give in. She gritted her teeth in anger. Okay. I will drown myself today. I will let you see if this stream can drown a person. Chapter 510, What do you want, black thing? Yun Chujio ran to the side of the stream and stuck her little head into the water. Di Baiming was so angry that he went forward and lifted Yun Chujio up. What do you want, black thing? Yun Chujio was like a little bastard and kept struggling. What do you mean by what I want? You're the one looking for trouble. This morning, you scolded me for no reason and even left me behind. You didn't even consider my safety. Just now, you slapped my little butt and now you're treating me like this. What do you take me for? A pet? Inhuman. I have my own thoughts and hobbies. I'm equal to you. What right do you have to treat me so tyrannically? Di Baiming was a little confused by Yun Chujia's words. In his opinion, Yun Chujio belonged to him. Since she belonged to him, she naturally had to listen to him. Some small matters could be handled according to Yun Chujia's personality, and she could be pampered a little. However, once he made a decision, Yun Chujio had to listen to him unconditionally. While Di Baiming was in a daze, Yun Chujio broke free from his hand and ran back to the camp in a flash. Di Baiming did not chase after Yun Chujio. He looked at Yun Chujia's back with an expressionless face. Yun Chujia's words had a huge impact on his perception. He could not understand his own thoughts at that moment. Yun Chujio ran back to the shed where the female disciples were. Zhuo Piaoyu and the others were meditating and chatting in groups of 3 to 5. When they saw Yun Chujio running in with tears on her face, they immediately quieted down. It had to be said that the miserable state of the 2 female disciples from Heavenly Gates sect made them fear Yun Chujio. This fellow was really evil. Moreover, she could even say that she was evil. It was better for them to not provoke her. Yun Chujio could not be bothered with them. She wiped her tears and scolded the gigolo a few hundred times. Then, she took out a storybook and started reading it. Humph. Gigolo, just because you don't allow me to read it means I have to listen. I want to read it. This fellow rubbed her butt as she read. Damn it. Damn gigolo. You actually dare to spank my little butt. This time, I will definitely not forgive you easily. Hiss. What a despicable move. Just you wait. Sooner or later, I will rip off your pants and give you a vicious beating. Di Baiming did not sleep for almost the entire night. He did not know whether he should adhere to his own principles or follow Yun Chujia's instructions and treat her as an equal partner in their relationship. The next day, when the sky was slightly bright, Xue Wuji rode his sword and came. Sister Little Jiu. Sister Little Jiu. I brought you dumplings from Wuwei City. Come out and have breakfast. Yun Chujio heard Xue Wuji's shout and walked out from the shed. Brother Wuji, you're here so early. Didn't you say that you wanted to eat dumplings that day? I bought them for you. I also bought you porridge and side dishes to prevent you from having too much of those greasy dumplings. Xue Wuji took out a table from his storage ring, then placed the food he bought on it. Brother Wuji, you haven't eaten breakfast yet, right? Let's eat together, Yun Chujio said with a smile. Xue Wuji saw Yun Chujia's small face smiling sweetly, and his heart felt like it had eaten honey. He happily sat opposite Yun Chujio and ate breakfast together with Yun Chujio. Shadow Agent Huahua sighed in his heart. Their young master was completely finished. In the middle of the night, he had scared the old man who sold the dumplings awake and forced him to steam buns and make porridge just to please this little girl. Chapter 5:11, A Gibberish Talisman. While Yun Chujio and Xue Wuji were halfway through their meal, Di Baiming walked over expressionlessly. He took out a chair and sat down. Then, he took out several bowls and a pair of chopsticks, then began to eat slowly. Xue Wuji was so angry that he was twitching. Damn it, this is what I got by staying up all night. You, facial paralysis, actually came to eat for free. However, if you were to cause trouble for Di Baiming, little sister Jiu would definitely be unhappy. Forget it, this facial paralysis, eat as you like. It'll be like feeding a pig. Xue Wuji quickly discovered that Di Baiming and Yun Chujio had not communicated the entire time. Oh, it looked like the two of them had not reconciled yet. This was a great opportunity for him. Xue Wuji kept trying to curry favor. Little sister Jiu, is this little steamed bun still to your liking? Yun Chujio nodded. It's quite delicious. Little sister Jiu, big brother bought a lot of drawers. I'll transfer them to you in a while, in case you can't eat them when you return to the Linghua faction. Big brother also bought some spirit fruits for you. After you finish eating, you can relieve the greasiness, gotcha. The chopsticks in Di Baiming's hand snapped. Di Baiming calmly took out another pair of chopsticks and continued eating. For some reason, Xue Wuji felt a little chill and finally restrained himself a little. After the three of them had their breakfast, Master Xianyuan led everyone from the Linghua sect to the competition grounds. A high platform had already been erected in front of the Wuwei Tower for the competition. There were also 2 rows of seats on the high platform, which were reserved for the 4 sect masters and the judges. Unlike the first Wuwei Tower trial, this time, many people came to watch the competition. An hour later, the competition officially began. The competition was judged one's skill on talisman making, artifact refining, beret formation, and pill refining. A total of 20 people would participate overall and 5 disciples would be sent to participate in each competition. The corresponding points would then be calculated according to the final ranking. Once all events were completed, the points of the disciples of each sect would be added together to determine the final ranking. Master Xuanyuan's attitude was relaxed. Since the first round of the Wuwei Tower trial, the Linghua sect had obtained first place. Even if they obtained the last place in this trial, it was still an acceptable result. On Yun Chijia's left sat the expressionless Di Baiming, and on her right sat Xue Wuji, who was constantly trying to curry favor with her. Little sister Jiu, I bought a lot of snacks for you. You can eat while you watch. You won't be participating in the competition anyway. You can just enjoy the show. Yun Chujio said with a smile, thank you, brother Wuji. You're right. I won't be participating this time, so I'll just cheer for them. Di Baiming saw Yun Chujio and Xue Wuji chatting non-stop. He was so angry that he grit his teeth. Thinking of Yun Chujio's words, he held it in. The competition soon began. The first round was the talisman-making competition. The content of the competition was a level 2 flame talisman. It was the first time Yun Chujio saw someone making a talisman. She stared curiously. The contestants held special talisman pens and dipped them in demon beast blood. Then, they slowly began to draw on the special talisman paper. Brother Wuji, why are they drawing so slowly? Yun Chujio asked in confusion. Little sister Jiu, you may not know this, but when making a talisman, it is important to ensure that the output of spiritual power is evenly distributed. If the output of spiritual power is not stable, then the talisman paper will burn on its own. As if to verify Xue Wuji's words, one of the Green Sky Palace disciples on the stage might have been nervous, and the uneven distribution of spiritual power had caused the talisman paper in his hand to burn. Without a doubt, this talisman was a failure. That disciple was naturally ended up in last place of the talisman competition. Yun Chujia's eyes stared at the actions of those disciples and cursed silently in her heart. Wasn't it just gibberish on the talisman? Was there a need to be so slow? Chapter 5:12, Little Jiu's products are top-notch. After a while, a disciple of the Heavenly Gates sect indicated that the talisman he had made was completed. Soon after, another disciple indicated that he had finished making the talisman. Other than the first disciple, everyone else had finished making the flame talismans. Yun Chujia's mind was not on who had won first place. Instead, she asked Xue Wuji with a smile, Brother Wuji, is this talisman very expensive? Of course. The higher the level of the talisman, the more expensive it is. Not only the talisman, but also the spirit tool, the array formation, and the pills are all very expensive. This is because learning those skills not only diverts the energy of cultivation, but also not everyone can learn the 4 techniques of cultivators. Many people who have learned it for decades cannot even be considered a second-rank warlock, so talent and comprehension are very important, Xue Wuji explained patiently. As soon as Xue Wuji finished speaking, he saw Yun Chujiu laughing foolishly. He curiously waved his hand in front of Yun Chujiu's eyes and said, "Little sister Jiu. Little sister Jiu. What are you laughing about?" Yun Chujiu finally came back to her senses and said with a bright smile, "I'm thinking if I can learn all 4 techniques, will I be able to make a fortune?" The surrounding disciples of the Linghua sect could not help but curl their lips. This Yun Chujiu did not know the difference between heaven and earth. Thinking she could learn all 4 techniques, it would be amazing if you were able to even learn just one. It was said that this Yun Chujiu was refining pills with Elder Qi, and she had once made a name for herself in the pill refining room. After that, there was no word on further progress. It was probably due to sheer dumb luck. Otherwise, with Yun Chujiu's arrogant personality, she would have already shown off. There had never been anyone in the Qing Xian continent who could master 2 of the 4 arts at the same time. Yet, Yun Chujiu was still fantasizing about learning all of them. It was simply a pipe dream. Xue Wuji was also amused by Yun Chujiu. "Little sister Jiu, although your courage is commendable, there are some people in the Tianyuan continent who are exceptionally talented, but they have only mastered 2 arts. Moreover, among the 2 arts, one is the main one and the other is the supplementary one, not to mention mastering all 4 at the same time." Yun Chujiu curled her lips disapprovingly. "What's so difficult about that? Don't they all need spiritual power and spiritual sense? At least this talisman and alchemy are about the same. In a while, they'll look at the artifact refining and array formation." Di Baiming, who was at the side, could not hold it in anymore. He snorted coldly. "You're overestimating yourself." Yun Chujiu acted as if she did not hear him. She did not even look at him as she focused all her attention on the artifact refining competition on the stage. The armament refining competition took a much longer time. Yun Chujiu yawned as she watched. This armament refining is really laborious. That piece of refined iron has been hammered at least 1,000 times. No wonder the spirit weapon is sold at such an expensive price. This is still a mortal-grade spirit weapon. If it is a middle-grade spirit weapon, it will take at least a few months or even a year to forge. The higher the grade of the spirit weapon, the longer it will take, and the more precious the materials used. To gain a good impression, Xue Wuji told her everything he knew. There was nothing he couldn't say. "Yup, if I can learn how to refine this weapon, I'll refine it for myself. If I use it to earn money, it's not worth it," Yun Chujiu said while stroking her chin. The surrounding disciples of the Linghua sect were all speechless. This Yun Chujiu was really superfluous and overconfident. Her words made it seem like she already knew how to refine weapons. She was really shameless. Xue Wuji thought the same in his heart. However, he said with a smile, "Little sister Jiu, when you learn how to refine weapons, you must give me a spirit weapon." "Humph. As long as there are materials and spirit stones, I promise to refine a top-notch spirit weapon for you." "Little Jiu's products are top-notch," Yun Chujiu said smugly. Chapter 513, A Genius is Indeed a Genius. Xue Wuji saw Yun Chujiu's smug look and echoed, "Then I'll be waiting for your top-notch spirit weapon." Xue Wuji raised his eyebrows at Di Baiming provocatively after he finished his words. "How could you be so dumb as to bootlick little sister Jiu? Sooner or later, she would find out who was the right person for her." Di Baiming's face was gloomy. He wished that he could strangle Xue Wuji to death. However, Black Thing would be even angrier with him if he did anything. Xue Wuji would be able to do as he wished for now. Soon, Xue Wuji would know what would happen to him for trying to steal his woman. Refining artifacts was a time-consuming and laborious task. It was only when the sun was setting that the disciples who participated in the competition indicated that they had finished refining. As the sky was already dark, the remaining array formation and pill refining competition was scheduled to be held on the following day. The crowd of onlookers also gradually dispersed. After dinner, Xue Wuji left reluctantly. Di Baiming looked at Yun Chuzhou with a conflicted expression before riding his sword and leaving as well. Yun Chuzhou curled her lips. "Pretty boy, you are such a tsundere. Let's see how long you can last." Yun Chuzhou hopped to find Feng Ming and said, "Senior brother Feng Ming, sell me some flame talismans." Feng Ming said in confusion, "Little sister Jiu, why do you need flame talismans? If you need me to give you a few, I'll give them to you." During the day, I saw that it was quite fun for them to make talismans. "I want to take 2 and study them," Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. Feng Ming was shocked. "Little sister Jiu, it's very difficult to learn how to make talismans. You won't understand it if you study it yourself. Why don't you ask Elder Zhuge for advice?" Yun Chuzhou shook her head. "No need. No need. I'm just curious. I'm just using them to pass the time. Since you're just killing time, don't use the flame talismans to study. I have a level 1 flame talisman here. It's cheaper. Even if you accidentally break it, it's not too much of a pity." Feng Ming said as he took out 2 flame talismans from his storage ring and handed them to Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou took the flame talisman and thanked Feng Ming. Then, she took the flame talisman and hopped to a corner. After opening the isolation disc, she took out the luminous pearl and lit it up. Then, she took out a flame talisman and looked at it carefully. Yun Chuzhou looked at it for a while and muttered, "Che. Isn't this gibberish on the talisman? It seems so mysterious. I don't think it's difficult at all." This fellow's hand was a little itchy. She wanted to try it with her own hands. Although she could get the demon beast blood, what if she didn't have a talisman pen or talisman paper? Senior brother Feng Ming definitely didn't have these things, and she didn't want too many people to know about it. Could it be that she could only wait until she had the opportunity to buy some talisman paper and talisman pen? She thought for a while. The talisman pen was just to control the output of spiritual power to be evenly distributed. It should be possible to use her fingers directly, but how could she solve the lack of talisman paper? Forget it, it'll just take a random piece of paper and try it out. If it doesn't work, then we'll deal with it later. Therefore, Yun Chuzhou took out a piece of paper for drawing. She dipped her finger in the blood of the demonic beasts and transferred her spiritual power to the paper. The drawing looked decent, but when she activated it, the talisman ran at 1/10 of its original power, and the paper couldn't withstand the spiritual power and was burned. Yun Chuzhou smiled proudly. Although the paper was burned, it seemed that she had drawn it right. Moreover, she could use her finger to replace the talisman pen. A genius was indeed a genius. However, where could she get talisman paper? Yun Chuzhou looked at the flame talisman in her hand and her eyes lit up. She had thought of a good idea. Chapter 5:14, Did you guys roast meat again? Yun Chuzhou saw that the flame talisman in her hand was drawn with a square meter of talisman paper. The talisman was only drawn in the middle, and there was still some blank space around it. Therefore, she took out a pair of scissors and cut out the blank space. This drawing can be drawn with big or small paper. People even make micro-carvings on grains of rice, so the size shouldn't affect the effect. I'll try it with this small piece. I'm too smart. This is called reducing wastage. Therefore, Yun Chuzhou divided the talisman paper that she cut into 4 parts and used her finger to dip it in the blood of the demonic beast to draw. In a short while, she had completed 1 piece. TSK. Look at how fast I am drawing. Look at those people on the stage, it was like they were carving embroidery. I will just draw with this. A little of this. Add to it a bit of that. I just don't know if I will succeed this time. Yun Chuzhou muttered a few words, then injected her spiritual power into the talisman paper and threw it out with a whoosh. However, the talisman paper's runes were not activated. They slowly fell onto the grass. Yun Chuzhou could not help but feel a little disappointed. It seemed that she had thought things were too simple. Could it be that she could not use her fingers? That was not right. Then why was it activated when she used the drawing paper just now? Yun Chuzhou drew a fire talisman on another small piece of talisman paper. Then, she used her spiritual power to trigger it and threw it out, but there was still no reaction. Yun Chuzhou tried the remaining two small pieces of talisman paper, but she still did not succeed. She did not sleep well yesterday because of the matter with Di Biming. She yawned and mumbled, "Fuck. It seems that geniuses can't always succeed. Let's try using the talisman pen and talisman paper another day. I'm going back to sleep first, I'm so sleepy." Yun Chuzhou put away the isolation formation plate and the illuminating pearl and hopped back to the female disciple's shed. After 2 hours, everyone fell asleep. The 4 small talisman papers that Yun Chuzhou had thrown away on the grass turned into a fireball the size of a basin and started burning. If one looked carefully, they would find that the fireball contained traces of purple lightning power. Other than some weeds, there were also some fallen leaves on the ground. The fire spread in an instant. Master Xianyuan and the others were quite alert and quickly discovered the fire. They quickly put out the fire without alerting the disciples. Strange, why is this grassland burning for no reason? It is indeed a little strange. Could it be a heavenly fire? But we didn't hear any thunder. Sect Master, could it be that someone is plotting against us? Master Xianyuan frowned. It shouldn't be. This method is a little too childish. This little fire can't possibly cause any harm to us. Elder Chu slapped his thigh. This is the craftiness of that old fellow Du Gai. Perhaps he wants to disturb our disciples' rest. If they don't rest well, then they won't be able to perform well in the remaining 2 competitions tomorrow. Everyone thought that it was possible. Otherwise, why would there be a fire for no reason? The next morning, Shui Wuji still came early to curry favor. "Little sister Jiu. Come out and eat breakfast. I bought you shrimp dumplings, rice rolls, and small wontons today." Yun Chuzhou yawned as she walked out of the shed. "Brother Wuji, you're up early." Secret Agent Huahua was silently cursing at the side. "Up early? They did not sleep throughout the night and were busy having food prepared for you. Our young master is a demon." "Little sister Jiu, did you guys roast meat again yesterday?" Shui Wuji sniffed and asked curiously. Chapter 5:15, I don't eat this kind of food. Yun Chuzhou shook her head. "No, Brother Wuji, why do you ask? There's a very strong smell of burning. Don't you smell it?" Yun Chuzhia's attention was on the food on the table, so she didn't notice it. After hearing what Shui Wuji said, she raised her nose and sniffed. Something did smell like it was burning. Where did the smell come from? Elder Chu happened to hear Shui Wuji and Yun Chuzhou talking. He said, "Yesterday, the grass over there suddenly caught fire. Don't you think it strange? We speculated that it might be that old fart Du Gai's idea to prevent us from having a good rest. If that's the case, we won't be able to perform well in the competition. That old man is really insidious." Yun Chuzhou felt a little guilty for no reason. "Elder Chu, where is the fire?" Elder Chu stretched out his finger. "There, it's over there, to the west of that hemlock tree." Yun Chuzhou thought to herself, isn't that the place where she fiddled with the fire talisman yesterday? Could it be that she was the main culprit behind the fire? "Elder Chu, when exactly was the fire yesterday?" Yun Chuzhou continued to ask. "Around midnight. Fortunately, we were more alert. Otherwise, that old man Du Gai would have succeeded." Elder Chu said with a little pride. Yun Chujio also scolded Du Gai with indignation. After Elder Chu left, Yun Chujio couldn't sit still anymore. Brother Wuji, I'll go to the place where the fire started. I'll come back for breakfast later. Brother will go with you. Shui Wuji put the food on the table into his storage ring and followed her attentively. Yun Chujio went to the place where the fire was last night. It was the place where she had stayed the day before. However, she had left at midnight. How could the talisman burn 2 hours later? It was really strange. Yun Chujio thought for a long time but still couldn't figure it out. Forget it, she'd better go back to the Linghua sect to study it. Breakfast was more important, and her stomach was rumbling. When Yun Chujio and Shui Wuji returned, they found Di Baiming already sitting there waiting for the two of them. Shui Wuji sneered, Di Baiming, could it be that your longevity hall can't afford to eat anymore? You're always freeloading on the breakfast I bought for little sister Jiu. How can you be so thick-skinned? Di Baiming glanced at him and took out a few small steamer baskets from his storage ring. He also took out a few plates of exquisite side dishes. Finally, he took out a big bowl of sweet-smelling polar mussel porridge. Yun Chujio cursed in her heart. That damn gigolo. He took out all her favorite food. Was he trying to use delicious food to please her? Humph, I won't fall for it. I won't eat this kind of food. However, cough cough. If the gigolo begged her bitterly, she could just eat a little. Just as Yun Chujio was thinking about it, she heard Di Baiming say, Shui Wuji, don't worry. I brought breakfast today. I won't eat the food you bought. After Di Baiming said that, he scooped a bowl of polar mussel porridge and drank it slowly. He did not have any intention of letting Yun Chujio eat it. Yun Chujio said to Shui Wuji angrily, Brother Wuji, let's eat breakfast too. We still have to watch the competition after eating. Shui Wuji nodded hurriedly and took out the food he bought. Yun Chujio smelled the fragrance coming from Di Baiming's dishes and felt that the shrimp dumplings in her mouth were not delicious at all. However, she refused to give in. She smacked her lips and said, Brother Wuji, the taste of the shrimp dumplings is really good. It's much better than polar mussel porridge. Chapter 5:16. To test Di Baiming's reaction when Shui Wuji heard Yun Chujio's words, he said proudly, Little sister Jiu, what do you like to eat? I'll send it to you every morning from now on. As long as you tell me, I'll definitely send it to you. Di Baiming glanced at the two of them, then said to Yun Chujio, Black thing. Originally, the rest was meant for you. Since you think the shrimp dumplings are delicious, then I'd better keep it. Yun Chujio was torn between her pride and the delicacies for a few seconds, then took the bowl of polar mussel porridge to her side and said shamelessly, the shrimp dumplings are the staple food. I can have some more porridge. The corner of Di Baiming's mouth curled up, but he did not say anything, then he mockingly looked at Shui Wuji. Shui Wuji gritted his teeth. Just as he was about to say something, he saw Yun Chujio reach out her evil claws and take the two steamer baskets in front of Di Baiming to her side. Then, she gobbled them up. She already felt that she was behaving shamelessly, so what was there to be polite about? Shui Wuji was very depressed. These things that he had spent most of the night making could not be compared to the lousy things that Di Baiming brought over. He had never seen this food in a restaurant in the Tianyuan continent. It must be made by the Temple of Immortal's own chef. He would post a notice to hire a chef when he went back. He did not believe that he could not compete with Di Baiming. Di Baiming and Shui Wuji were busy competing with each other while Yun Chujio was only responsible for eating. As for whether she would lose face or not, it was not an issue at all. After breakfast, the competition continued. The first to start was the array formation competition. There were already judges who had set up the 9 zigzag array on the high platform. After the 20 people who participated in the competition entered the array, the judges opened the array disc and ranked them according to the order in which they had to break out of the array. Yun Chujio looked at them casually while munching on melon seeds. She muttered in a low voice, "This is too easy. If I go up, it'll be out in less than 15 minutes. The surrounding disciples of the Linghua sect curled their lips. This Yun Chujio was becoming more and more arrogant. Yesterday, she said that she wanted to learn all 4 techniques of cultivators, and today, she was spewing nonsense. How could she be out in less than 15 minutes? Are you dreaming? This 9-winding array was formed from 9 array formations. It was already good enough if the disciples on the stage could get out within 4 hours. It was surely impossible to make it in half an hour. However, Xue Wuji knew how powerful Yun Chujio was. He smiled and said, "Of course, they can't compare with Little Sister Jiu. Little Sister Jiu, if you're bored, you can read the book. You haven't finished reading the few books that we bought together last time, have you?" Di Baiming's eyes darkened. Damn this Xue Wuji. He knew that he and He Dong had a conflict because of the book, but Xue Wuji had to bring it up. He must be up to no good. Di Baiming had to hold back and not lose his temper. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. So that was the case. Didn't the black chicken head slip up last time? This guy did it on purpose. You black-headed chicken. Just you wait, I'll get my revenge sooner or later. However, it was fine to read it. Firstly, to pass the time, and secondly, to test Di Baiming's reaction. Therefore, Yun Chujio took out a book from her storage ring and read it happily. It was titled Smiling at the Pretty Boy's Harem. Di Baiming wanted to burn this book into ashes. He clenched his fist and held it back. Yun Chujio saw that although Di Baiming's face was gloomy, he did not do anything. She was very proud. No matter how overbearing and arrogant you are, I will turn you into my slave. Chapter 5:17, How dare you snatch my book in broad daylight? Di Baiming's face was gloomy. He tried his best to focus on the competition stage and did not think about the book in Yun Chujio's hands. However, his mind was filled with words like handsome man, harem, peerless beauty, husband, and so on. He gritted his teeth. Black thing, pass me the book in your hands. Yun Chujio was so scared that she immediately covered the book in her arms. What are you doing? Are you going to destroy my book again? Don't even think about it. How dare you snatch my book in broad daylight? How shameless. The corner of Di Baiming's eyes twitched violently. He sighed and said, I don't want to destroy this book. I just want to check out the contents and see why you are so obsessed with this book. Yun Chujio was skeptical, but she still handed the book to Di Baiming. Then, she nervously stared at Di Baiming, afraid that he would not keep his promise and destroy the book. It's really pretty. You'll know when you see it. When you read it, you focus on its plot and ignore the unimportant parts. I'm not interested in the fights between the goblins. I just like to read the storyline. Yun Chujio explained. Di Baiming resisted the urge to burn the book in his hand. He opened it and started to read. What nonsense was this? Women were superior to men. Women could not only be the emperor but also take in more than 10 male concubines. Di Baiming could not continue reading after just 2 pages. He threw the book to Yun Chujio, ridiculous, extremely boring. Seeing that Di Baiming did not destroy the book, Yun Chujio made a victory sign in her heart. The gigolo was about to compromise. She had to find an opportunity to work harder. In the future, she would be able to openly read these kinds of books. Di Baiming saw that Yun Chujio finished reading the book after a short while. Then, she took out another stack from her storage ring. Black thing, how many did you buy that day? Not many, just a few hundred. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Di Baiming, these are all given to little sister Jill by me. Girls should be pampered. I'm not like you, bullying little sister Jill all day long. What's wrong with reading a book? I think this is a very, very good hobby. Little sister Jill, you can read as much as you want. If this facial paralysis doesn't let you, I will deal with him. Shui Wuji saw that the relationship between Yun Chujio and Di Baiming had eased up a little. He quickly came out to make his presence felt and at the same time to sow discord. Yun Chujio glanced at Shui Wuji. Brother Wuji, thank you. It would be even better if you could be more serious next time. Shui Wuji was dumbfounded. It was over. Little sister Jill knew that he had intentionally let it slip last time. What should he do? Little sister Jill must hate him to death. Little sister Jill, I really didn't do it on purpose last time. I really didn't mean to let it slip. Besides, judging from the words, it wasn't a bad thing to begin with. I didn't expect that Di Baiming, this expressionless man, would be so unreasonable. I immediately fell out with you. Shui Wuji felt that his words were extremely clever. He had taken himself out and secretly tricked Di Baiming. It was killing two birds with one stone. Shui Wuji, I don't care what your motive is. You have repeatedly tried to sow discord between me and the Black Thing. I will make your blood demon sect pay for your stupidity. Di Baiming could not stand it anymore. If it were not for this Shui Wuji, he and the Black Thing would not have ended up like this. It was all caused by him sowing discord. Chapter 518, We Can Only Be Friends. Shui Wuji was stunned at first, then he said to Yun Chujio with deep affection, Little sister Jill, brother is doing this for you. Even if the demon blood sect suffers from this facial paralysis revenge, brother will always help you. Yun Chujio saw that Shui Wuji's expression was different from his usual pretense, but his true feelings were revealed. She was slightly stunned. She had always thought that Shui Wuji was trying to curry favor with her just to cause trouble for Di Baiming. She did not expect him to have such a good impression of her. Yun Chujio had always been straightforward and decisive when doing things. Since she did not like Shui Wuji, then she should not give him any false hope. Yun Chujio was silent for a moment. After she took out the isolation disc and activated it, her face turned serious. Brother Wuji, although we were not happy before, after these few days, I have already treated you as a friend. However, we are only friends. There is no other possibility. Yun Chujio did not continue. Although Shui Wuji looked a little silly, his mind was very clear. She believed that he understood what she meant. When Shui Wuji heard Yun Chujio's words, the light in his eyes instantly dimmed. His heart felt sour as if it was even worse than losing a lot of spirit stones. When Di Baiming saw Yun Chujio say this, he felt extremely relieved. The shadow that had been lingering in his heart for so many days had finally disappeared. As I said, with Shui Wuji's stupid appearance, he still wanted to compete with me for the Black Thing. He was simply overestimating himself. Humph. Damn you, Shui Wuji. Do you think you can snatch the Black Thing? You must be dreaming. However, seeing that you have suffered such a blow, it'll temporarily withhold any action against the demon blood sect. Seeing that Shui Wuji looked like he had nothing left to live for, Yun Chujio felt guilty. However, since she did not him, she had to nip the bud before things escalated. If she were to play flirtatious games, it would be harmful to others and herself. Shui Wuji was silent for a moment, then, he smiled evilly. Io, it seems that this young master's charm is limited to little sister Jill. Little sister Jill, don't worry. This young master has always been able to take things easy. Since you have made it so clear, then you will be my little sister from now on. If anyone bullies you, Big Brother will beat them up until they find their teeth all over the floor. When Yun Chujio saw that Shui Wuji had returned to his carefree self, she felt relieved and said with a smile, Thank you, Brother Wuji. Di Baiming frowned. Shui Wuji gave up so easily. This was not like his personality at all. However, since Black Thing did not have him in his heart, he was relieved. Yun Chujio put away the isolation disc and continued to read the book in her hand. At this moment, Di Baiming and Shui Wuji who were beside her were in a state of ice and fire. The gloominess on Di Baiming's face was swept away. He suddenly felt that Black Thing did not mind reading these messy books. At the very least, he did not have the time to deal with an idiot like Shui Wuji. Should he get more of these books for Black Thing? On the other side, Shui Wuji suffered a huge blow. Little sister Jiu, is your eyesight bad? How can you like Di Baiming's facial paralysis and not me? I am more gentle and considerate than that facial paralysis. Moreover, I am so good to you. Why do you like him and not me? Shui Wuji secretly gritted his teeth. This young master will not give up so easily. Little sister Jiu will understand sooner or later that he is more suitable for her than Di Baiming's facial paralysis. Chapter 519. The Yun family had an accident after the array formation competition was completed. It was the alchemy competition. Yun Chujio was not interested. In her eyes, these people were like children playing house, too weak. After an hour and a half, the alchemy competition also ended uneventfully. After the points were calculated, the second round was indeed won by the Heaven's Gate sect. The Heaven's Sword sect was second, the Linghua sect was third, and the Bixiao Palace sect was last. After adding up the results of the 2 rounds, other than the Bixiao Palace sect who had slightly worse results, the other 3 sects were neck and neck. However, Du Gai was very dissatisfied with the results. If it wasn't for that Yun Chujio, their Heaven's Gate sect would definitely be ranked first in the Wuwei Tower trial. Stupid girl, I won't let you off. After the trial ended, the 4 great sects set off and left the Wuwei mountain one after another. Di Baiming and Shui Wuji did not accompany Yun Chujio back to the Linghua sect because they had some matters to attend to. Although Yun Chujio and Di Baiming did not completely reconcile, when Di Baiming saw that Yun Chujio had explicitly rejected Shui Wuji, in his heart, he let go of the matter of Yun Chujio reading the book. Yun Chujio felt that she could not rush to correct the tsundere character of the gigolo. She simmered it down slowly, and sooner or later, she would change him. On the afternoon of the 3rd day after they returned to the Linghua faction, Yun Chuzi and the others found Yun Chujio. Little Jiu, grandfather is sick. Quickly tell the sect leader, we have to go back and see him. Yun Chujio was shocked. What illness does grandfather have? How did you find out about it? Housekeeper Ji sent someone to deliver the letter. He said that he had caught a cold and didn't care about it, but it's got worse. Now, he's bedridden and can't get out of bed. Grandfather doesn't want us to worry, but housekeeper Ji thinks that we should go back and visit him. I'll go and ask for permission to leave from the sect master right now and borrow another flying spirit tool so that we can hurry back. Yun Chujio was concerned about Yun Xiaotian. When she heard that Yun Xiaotian was sick, she immediately felt a little uneasy. Yun Chujio went to find Master Shenyuan and told him about the matter. Master Shenyuan hesitated for a moment, but he still agreed to Yun Chujio's request and lent her a small flying spirit tool. He told her to be careful on the way and to return as soon as possible. Yun Chujio came out from Master Xuanyuan's place, found Yun Chuzi and the others, and left the Linghua sect on the flying spirit tool. Anfeng was quite puzzled when he saw Yun Chujio leave the Linghua sect again. Where is little sister Jiu going? She carefully tailed her. The flying spirit tool was quite fast. At noon the next day, Yun Chujio and the others arrived at Yi City. They got off the flying spirit tool, and after entering the city, they went straight to the Yun mansion. When they arrived at the door of the Yun mansion, Yun Chujio found that the 2 people guarding the door looked very unfamiliar. She had never seen them before, and they were actually at the 9th level of the spirit enhancement realm. Her heart moved, and she asked casually, "Are the autumn crabapples of our Yun mansion ripe?" The two of them were stunned. One of the tall guards smiled and said, "They should be ripe already. Young Miss Chiu has visited the family head, so you can let your servants pick a few and have a taste." Yun Chujio smiled and waved at the tall guard. "I brought some gifts for the two of you from the Linghua sect. Come here, I'll give them to you." Yun Chuzi and the others frowned. Why was little Jiu so inconspicuous? Why was she not in a hurry to go in and see the family head? Why was she chatting with these two guards? Besides, how could their Yun residents have any autumn apple fruits? The tall guard hesitated for a moment, but he still walked over with a smile. "Thank you very much, Miss Jiu." Yun Chujio smiled at him, and a big paper bag appeared in her hand. "This is my gift to you. Take it." Yun Chujio suddenly threw the paper bag in her hand at the man's face. At the same time, the rolling pin in her hand was thrown at the man. Chapter 520, My life is worth so little. When the man saw the paper bag being thrown at him, he subconsciously blocked it and his face was covered with the chili paste inside. Before he could react, Yun Chujia's rolling pin had smashed into his chest. The man screamed and fell to the ground. When the other short guard saw this, he was about to run into the Yun mansion when Yun Chuzi and the others had already reacted by surrounding the man. Yun Chujio hit the man's knee with the rolling pin and leaped forward, holding the kitchen knife on the man's neck. "Tell me, who are you people? Where did the Yun family go?" Yun Chujio was burning with anxiety. Something must have happened to the Yun family. She hoped that her grandfather and the others were still alive. "Stupid girl, if you dare to kill me, none of the people inside will live." The short man saw that the situation was dire and said fiercely. Yun Chujio saw that she couldn't get anything out of him, so she slit his throat. Then, she stabbed the tall man lying on the ground. Just as Yun Chujio was about to speak to Yun Chuzi and the others, the door opened. In the middle of the courtyard sat a man wearing a golden mask. Yun Chujio couldn't see through this person's spiritual power, so he must be above the second level of the spirit cultivator realm. Around him stood dozens of men in black, and half of them, Yun Chujio couldn't see through their cultivation. The remaining people were at least at the 9th layer of the spirit enhancement realm. Behind the man, Yun Xiaotian and the others were tied up with ropes, and their mouths were stuffed with rags. Almost everyone was wounded, and their clothes were full of blood. The only thing that made Yun Chujio feel relieved was that none of them were dead. "Little girl, you are indeed very crafty. You saw right through the guards instantly. No wonder someone offered 100 million low-grade spirit stones to take your little life. You killed two of us just now. In exchange, two people will pay with their lives." The golden-masked man gestured for Yun Xiaotian and Yun Chusher to be escorted to the side. "Stop. Don't you want my life? I'll go with you, let these people go." Yun Chujio said indifferently as if this was a very small matter. The man in the golden mask was stunned. "Yo, little girl, you're quite loyal. I thought I had to kill a few more people to force you into submission. Since that's the case, eat this poison pill." Yun Chujio took the poison pill from the man and was about to put it into her mouth when Yun Chuzi and the others grabbed Yun Chujia's arm. "Little Jiu. You can't." Yun Chujio smiled bitterly. "Do we have any other choice?" Yun Chuzi and the others fell silent. They could not beat him. If they left, Yun Xiaotian and the others would die without a doubt. They were extremely angry at their incompetence. Yun Chujio played with the pill in her hand and said to the golden-masked man, "What if you don't let me go even if I eat this poison pill?" The golden-masked man laughed. "The biggest creed of our League of Assassins is to keep our promises. Otherwise, we would not have become the #1 assassin organization in the Qingxian continent. As long as you take this poison pill and follow our instructions, I promise not to hurt anyone here." League of Assassins? It sounds pretty awesome. This is a no-cost business. It must be very profitable, right? What is your business scope? How did the customers find you? Could it be that you appeared out of thin air after shouting in the courtyard that I wanted to hire a murderer? Oh right, the person who killed me only paid you 100 million low-grade spirit stones. My life is worth so little. Yun Chujio asked curiously. Everyone. Chapter 521, This little girl must be sick. Everyone was dumbfounded. Especially the people from the League of Assassins. This little girl must be sick, right? Why do you care whether we earn money or not? Why do you care how the customers contact us? What does it have to do with you? Moreover, when they heard that someone was about to be killed, they still doubted that the price of hiring an assassin was too low. The man in the golden mask was stunned at first, then he laughed out loud. Little girl, this is interesting. Unfortunately, there is no reason for us to cancel the contract once we accept it. Otherwise, we can sit down and have a good chat. You've wasted enough time, just swallow the poison pill. Will the poison pill make you choke? I haven't lived long enough. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes, her face full of grief. The man in the golden mask frowned. The client said that you have to live if possible, so if you eat this poison pill, you won't die for the time being. You'll only lose your spiritual power. However, if you don't take the antidote 3 days later, you'll still die. As for what happens after we hand you over to the client, that has nothing to do with us. Don't get any funny ideas. This poison pill and antidote are only available to our League of Assassins. Cut the crap and quickly swallow it. Sigh, it seems that before I die, I can't find out who wants to kill me. I can't die in peace. Alright, can we let them go now? Yun Chujio stuffed the pill into her mouth and swallowed it. The man in the golden mask saw Yun Chujio swallow the pill and asked someone to tie Yun Chujio up. Then, he waved his hand and asked someone to let Yun Xiaotian and the others go. Miss Jiu. I have let you down. But I have no choice. If I didn't write a letter, they threatened to kill the family head. Housekeeper Ji knelt on the ground, tears streaming down his face. Yun Chujio smiled and said, Housekeeper Ji, you have done well. If you didn't do as they said, I would blame you for the consequences. Take good care of your grandfather. Yun Xiaoshan's old tears streamed down his face. Little Jiu, this is, sigh. I have let down your dead parents. At this moment, Yun Xiaotian felt helpless. There was a huge difference in strength between the two sides. Moreover, he didn't care about his old life anymore, but what about the others? Grandfather, don't worry about me. Maybe when the people who hired the assassins see that I'm so smart and cute, they will cancel the contract. Grandfather, when this matter is over, I'll come back to see you. Yun Chujio said with a smile. The corners of the assassin's eyes twitched. They had carried out so many missions, but this was the first time they saw someone who was still smiling before they left. Moreover, since he already spent 100 million spirit stones to kill you, it showed how much he hated you. Why would he cancel the contract? Alright, cut the crap. Let's go. The man in the golden mask urged. I know. I'm so sensible and obedient. What's there to be afraid of if we delay for a little while? Grandfather, everyone, I'm leaving. See you later. Yun Chujio was carried away by the people from the League of Assassins with her flying spirit tool. Grandfather, don't worry. Well, return to the Linghua sect right now and ask Master Xianyuan to save little Jiu. Yun Chuzi consoled. Right. Quickly go back and find someone to save little Jiu. It will be too late if we tarry. Yun Xiaotian urged Yun Chuzi and the others to immediately return to the Linghua sect. An phone had already sent a voice transmission talisman to Di Biming. He had been following the League of Assassins' flying spirit tool from behind. The reason why he did not make a move just now was firstly because the other party had a large number of people. Moreover, with Yun Xiaotian and the others as hostages, it was not wise to make a move. At this moment, inside the League of Assassins' flying spirit tool, Yun Chuzhou was chatting with everyone with a smile. Yes, she was the one who initiated it. Chapter 522, You must be crazy to want to make money. Gold face, you look pretty good in that mask, but aren't you afraid that it's not good for your skin if you keep wearing it? And you guys? Why are you all wearing black clothes? You don't deserve to have such an awesome identity as members of the League of Assassins. You guys should wear a big red outfit. That would be so cool. Moreover, it didn't matter if they got blood on them. Killing two birds with one stone. You guys should consider my suggestion. Gold face, do you guys know that I'm a true disciple of the Linghua sect? Aren't you afraid of offending the Linghua sect? Isn't it too cheap to do this for just a mere 100 million low-grade spirit stones? Also, why don't you guys take me to the Linghua sect to exchange for some spirit stones? I'm so smart and cute, and Master Xianyuan likes me very much. Maybe he'll even use 1 billion low-grade spirit stones to pay my ransom. Actually, why don't you guys change professions? It must be dangerous being an assassin. Why don't you try kidnapping? Think about it, you can kidnap a victim several times. Isn't it a lot better than killing her? Shut her mouth. The man in the golden mask couldn't stand the sound of the endless chattering anymore. It was the first time he had encountered such a strange target. Wait. Don't muzzle me. Don't muzzle me. At worst, I won't say anything. What would you guys like to hear? Why don't I tell you guys about the matters of the Linghua sect? Aren't you guys curious? Alright, I know that you guys are very well informed, but there are inevitably some rumors that you don't know about. For example, the matter of West Peak's Peak Master Yuan having an illegitimate daughter. What? There's such a thing. Why haven't we heard of it? Gold Face was shocked. This was the first time he had heard of this news. TCH. How could such a shameful thing be known to others? Do you guys want to hear more? I know a lot of such news. It's all about the 5 peak masters and the elders. For example, who has an illegitimate child, who is in a relationship with whom, who is gay with, wait. What does gay mean? Gold Face asked in confusion. It means that two men are in love. By the way, do you usually spend spirit stones to buy information about your League of Assassins? Yun Chuzhou suddenly changed the topic. Ji Mian nodded. Most of it is bought with money. Why are you asking about this? Of course it's business. I have a lot of information. I also know a lot about that old bastard Du Gai from our Linghua sect. Are you interested? Yun Chuzhou said as she observed Gold Face's eyes. Gold Face's eyes did not show anything other than surprise. Yun Chuzhia's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that it was that old bastard Du Gai that hired them to kill her? Who else wanted to kill her? Moreover, with such a huge sum of money, an average person would not be able to afford such a high price. Business? What business? Gold Face asked in confusion. You guys spent spirit stones to buy information about me. Yun Chuzhou said as if it was a matter of fact. Humph. You're a dead woman walking, and you still want to earn spirit stones. You're really greedy. Gold Face was so angry that he was amused. Strange things happened every year, and this year, there were a lot of them. He had been an assassin for so many years, but this was the first time he had met such a weirdo. As a hostage, she actually talked business with them. You must be crazy to want to make money in this situation. Sigh, things are unpredictable in this world. What if I escape death this time? I'll earn more spirit stones, and then I'll hire you guys to kill that bastard who wants to kill me. Your killing league doesn't accept all kinds of business, right? What kind of business do you turn down? This little girl overestimated herself. Did she think that they would cancel the contract? Oh. Then what if, I say what if, you handed us over to the employer, and then I escaped from him? Would you still accept a new contract to kill me? No. Our League of Assassins do not accept the same mission twice. Goldface pursed his lips. Where did this little girl get her confidence from? Since money was already spent to kill you, how could we let you escape? Oh. Then do you accept bodyguard missions? For example, I pay you to protect the Yun family. Do you accept such missions? Goldface frowned. We only accept missions to kill people, we never accept missions to protect people. Chapter 524, Burn paper offerings to contact you. Although Yun Chujio was being chatty on the outside, she was constantly calculating the situation in her mind. If she ran away now, the murderous gang would not let the Yun family off. She could only revoke the contract when she went to the so-called employer. However, the person who hired the murderer to kill her would inevitably attack the Yun family again. She had to think of a perfect plan. It would be great if the assassins could go into the business of protecting people. You guys are not taking such a lucrative job. Isn't this task of protecting people better than that of shouting and killing? Moreover, it is a sustainably profitable business. Go back and suggest it to your chief. Maybe your chief will reward you well. Little girl, what you said makes sense. I will suggest it to our chief. Goldface's heart was moved. What this little girl said made sense. What was the difference between protecting people and killing people? In the end, it was all for the sake of making money. Really? That's great. If your League of Assassins can accept the business of protecting someone, you must tell me. I will be your first big client. Yun Chujia's eyes sparkled as she said happily. The corner of Goldface's mouth twitched slightly. You are about to die, all right? The first one to tell you. Do we burn paper offerings to contact you? All right. Let's get down to business. What did you say about Peak Master Yuan having an illegitimate daughter just now? Goldface asked. That Peak Master Yuan usually looks like a gentleman, but my fiery eyes still discovered something fishy. That Shuo Piaoyu is his illegitimate daughter. Yun Chujio said angrily. She thought to herself, Peak Master Yuan, I'm so sorry. Who asked you to spoil Shuo Piaoyu so much? I can only ridicule you. Goldface took out a jade slip and after flipping through it, he frowned. That's not right. Shuo Piaoyu is the biological granddaughter of the Shuo family's patriarch. How could she be Peak Master Yuan's illegitimate daughter? TCH. Of course, you have to cover up such things. If you did something wrong, would you make a big fuss about it? Unless that person is stupid. Yun Chujio pouted. Then how did you come to know of such a secret? Goldface was skeptical. I have to start from Shuo Piaoyu, that little bitch, being jealous of my beauty. Everyone, are you shameless? Who didn't know of Shuo Piaoyu from the Linghua sect, the famous beauty in the Qing Xian continent? You. Although her facial features were okay, her small body was like a bean sprout, and she was crazy. Why would Shuo Piaoyu be jealous of you? Look at your expressions. You don't believe me. You know Feng Ming, right? In fact, that little bitch Shuo Piaoyu likes senior brother Feng Ming, but senior brother Feng Ming always played cards with me. Not just him but Gung Yi and Shi Xian too. Thus, that little bitch Shuo Piaoyu repeatedly framed me. How could such a smart and intelligent person like me fall into her trap? Not only did she fail to set me up, she even lost a bet with me. The result of losing the bet was that she had to voluntarily give up the qualifications to be a successor disciple, continued Yunchujo. Thus, Peak Master Yuan shamelessly came looking for me. Using both carrot and stick, I didn't compromise. In the end, he cried and told me that Chua Piaoyu was his illegitimate daughter and begged me to let Chua Piaoyu go this time. I'm just too kind, so my heart softened and I didn't pursue the matter further. Otherwise, that little bitch Chua Piaoyu would have long been demoted to an inner sect disciple. Yun Chujio said passionately. Chapter 525. The two of them were good friends. Seeing that Yun Chujio spoke very confidently and did not stutter, the gold-masked man could not help but believe her. He then asked, then who are the two people in the Linghua sect who are gay? I'm so thirsty. Pour me a cup of tea. It'll moisten my throat before continuing. Yun Chujio did not have the self-awareness of being a hostage at all. The man with the golden mask gestured for his subordinate to pour Yun Chujio a cup of tea. Yun Chujio gulped down the tea and said, give me a few more snacks. My stomach is growling. The man with the golden mask endured it for a while, but he still got someone to bring a plate of snacks for Yun Chujio. After Yun Chujio ate it slowly, she then said, the ones who are gay in the Linghua sect are none other than Elder Xiao and Elder Chu. What? You mean Xiao Pancher and Chu Bewley? The two of them are actually in that kind of relationship. The man with the gold face mask stood up from his chair in shock. Yeah, why are you so agitated? Do you know them? Yun Chujio asked in confusion. Who in the Qing Xian continent doesn't know Elder Xiao and Elder Chu? The two of them are well known in the Qing Xian continent. How can the two of them be in that kind of relationship? You must be spouting nonsense. The man with the gold face mask felt that this was too absurd. Yun Chujio thought to herself, humph, it's this kind of absurd and impossible thing that aroused your curiosity. Little Pancher, little Chu, I'm sorry. But as your elder, it's not a big deal for me to make up a few words about you. All right. It seems that if I don't give you some concrete evidence, you won't believe me. Did the two of them not get married and have children? Yun Chujio said with a confident expression. Gold-Face nodded. It's true that the two of them didn't get married and have children. However, many cultivators have never gotten married. This doesn't prove anything. Did you notice a specific detail? Elder Xiao and Elder Chu would go everywhere together if the Linghua sect had any missions that required them to go out and train. Why was this so? It was because Master Xianyuan knew about their relationship, so he was creating a chance for them to be alone. Our Master Xianyuan is very understanding. Gold-Face still felt that this wasn't substantial evidence, so he said, this doesn't mean that the two of them have a special relationship, right? If you don't believe it, then forget it. In any case, the two of them are always flirting with each other. I think it's just not normal. Let me tell you guys about that old fellow, Du Gai now. TSK, that old fellow embarrassed himself in the Wuwei Tower a few days ago. Yun Chujio blabbered on and on about Du Gai. Yun Chujio's expression was lively. Moreover, she was talking about some things that aroused people's curiosity. The people of the League of Assassins were all listening with great interest. One of the assassins saw Yun Chujio mentioning cards repeatedly and asked, little girl, what are the cards you're talking about? Cards are a good thing. You'll get addicted after playing it once. Now, the people of the Linghua sect all like to play cards. It's a pity that I don't have spiritual power now. Otherwise, I'll take them out from my storage ring and let you guys have a look. How about this? You guys get me some wooden cards, and I'll make one for you guys on the spot. I'll save it for when you guys go out on missions in the future to kill time, Yun Chujio said with a smile. Gold-Face was also a little curious. Since the mission this time had been successfully completed, it was inevitable for them to relax a little. Therefore, he did not stop his team. Chapter 526, Assassins and Hostages Playing Cards Together. The assassins brought over some wooden cards of the same size. Yun Chujio wrote and drew on them, and soon, she produced a deck of playing cards. There are many ways to play these cards. I'll quickly teach you the simplest one first. When you've learned it, I'll teach you Fight the Landlord. It's especially fun. Yun Chujio said, beaming with joy. She figured that An Feng must be following her from behind. He had suddenly appeared back in the fire cave. Although she did not ask him to, Di Biming must have sent him to protect her in secret. She distracted the members of the League of Assassins so they would not find out that An Feng was tailing them. Sigh, she was still too weak. If she could escape from death this time, she would definitely train hard and never read those dirty books again. But it shouldn't be a problem to read them occasionally, right? The assassins quickly learned how to play cards and were all eager to give it a try. When they saw that Gold-Face did not stop them, they asked Yun Chujio to make a few more cards. You guys are quite bad at this. If you play with me, I will win until you don't even have any undergarments left. Yun Chujio pouted and said. Those killers would not be convinced, so they chose 3 people to play with Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio stretched out her hands at the golden-masked man and said, Gold-Face, how can I play without money? At least give me a few spirit stones as an information fee so that I can play with them. The man in the golden mask thought for a moment and handed over a few spiritual stones to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio thanked him with a smile and started to play with his team of assassins. When the man in the golden mask saw the scene in front of him, the corners of his eyes could not help but twitch. Assassins and hostages playing cards together. Why did this situation look so strange? However, these subordinates were tense all day long. It was rare for them to be so happy, so they could relax a little. Even if the people of the Yun family returned to the Linghua sect to report for help, they would still need at least a day to conduct a rescue. Since they dared to accept this business deal, they were not afraid that the Linghua sect would cause trouble for them. Yun Chujio's card skills were pretty good. In a short while, she had won a pile of spirit stones. She smiled and said to Gold-Face, Gold-Face, your League of Assassins doesn't need to do this line of work at all. If you accept this business of protecting people and open a casino, not only will you earn more than killing people, but you can also let these big brothers live a normal life. Not to mention, you guys can marry and have children. You only know how to kill people all day long. How much time have you lost potentially being able to enjoy life? People live just to be happy. Look at me, I'm about to die, but I'm still so happy. So you guys really have to persuade your leader. If it doesn't work, you guys let me live for another day or so. I'll go and persuade him. Anyway, I'm also going to die. If he gets angry, he can just kill me. Yun Chujio's words hit the heart of the assassins. Who the hell would want to live like this? Every day, it was just killing and killing. Every day, people around them would die. Other than killing, eating, and sleeping, there was nothing else to do. They were just tools for killing. They were not human at all. However, these killers had all consumed the League of Assassins' poison. They had to take the antidote regularly every month. Therefore, even though they had lived this kind of life for a long time, they could not help it. They could only live this hopeless life day after day, year after year. The atmosphere in the flying spirit tool suddenly became somber. Everyone fell into a strange silence. Chapter 527. There is an opportunity right in front of you. Gold-Face's heart also flashed with disappointment. There was no other way. In the martial arts world, people had no choice. Once they entered the League of Assassins, the only way to leave was through death. If they could persuade the League Master to give up the business of killing people and switch to protecting people, they would be able to relax. At least the casualties would not be so severe. However, would the League Master listen to his suggestion? He might even kill him in a fit of anger. "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Did I touch a nerve? I'm sorry. Come. Come. Let's continue playing cards." Yun Chujio showed some guilt on her face as she called for everyone to resume their card game. The atmosphere became lively again, but the man in the golden mask had a lot on his mind. He was considering the possibility of bringing Yun Chujio back to the League of Assassins headquarters to persuade the League leader. How about he find a reason to bring this little girl back to the headquarters? If the little girl could persuade the League leader, that would be the best. Even if she could not convince the leader, this little girl was a hostage. The employer said that if she were captured alive, he would add another 10 million spirit stones to the base of 100 million spirit stones. No matter how angry the League's leader was, he could not bear to kill this little girl. The agreed time with the employer was 3 days later, so there was still time. Goldface thought for a long time and finally came up with an excuse. There was a small problem with the flying spirit tool. Yes. He would use this as an excuse to repair the League of Assassins' flying spirit tool, and then he would arouse the curiosity of the League leader towards the little girl. "Little girl, if you want to live, there is an opportunity right in front of you. It depends on whether you can grasp it," Goldface said to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio's small face showed great surprise. "What? Goldface, you aren't joking, right? That's great. I told you, I'm such a smart and cute person. How could you bear to watch me die? What kind of opportunity are you talking about?" The corner of Goldface's eyes twitched slightly. "Our flying spiritual device has a bit of a malfunction. We have to go back to headquarters to repair it first, and then send you to the place that we agreed with our employer. Our chief might ask you some things. If you tell our chief about those suggestions just now, perhaps our chief will give the order to let you go." Yun Chujio nodded with a smile. "This flying spirit tool is breaking down, on the verge of crashing, needs urgent repair. Big brother Goldface, I will try my best to convince your chief." "Thank you very much." Goldface nodded, thinking that this little girl was very eloquent. Perhaps she could persuade our chief. If she could, that would be great. Anfeng, who was chasing after them, had been carefully hiding. However, the journey was surprisingly smooth, which surprised him a little. Those people's spiritual power was not low, so how could they not notice his tracking? It was really strange. Where would the people from the League of Assassins take Miss Jiu to? Would they hand her over to their employer or bring her back to their headquarters first? The League of Assassins had existed for thousands of years, and it was on par with the 4 great sections. However, since they usually would not provoke the 4 great sects, things were peaceful between them. Why did they accept a contract to target Miss Jiu this time? Although 100 million low-grade spirit stones wasn't a small amount, they wouldn't go so far as to make an enemy out of the Linghua sect for this small amount of spirit stones, right? There was probably something else involved. Humph. No matter what the reason was, they dared to go after Miss Jiu. When the esteemed Lord brings people over, none of you will be able to leave alive. Chapter 528, Stay and Be My Slave Girl. 10 hours later, the flying spirit tool flew into a mountain hollow. Anfeng wanted to follow it in, but he found that the entire mountain hollow had activated a protective shield. Damn! What should he do now? He could not enter at all. He could only wait for His Excellency to come over. Miss Jiu, you must hold on. Yun Chujio was brought into a room by Goldface. After sending someone to guard the entrance, she left to report to the chief of the League of Assassins about the journey. Yun Chuzhou sat on the chair in a daze. Ever since she transmigrated, she had always been able to turn a bad situation into a good one with her sharp tongue and clever little brain. It was also because of this that she was a little lazy. In this world, the strong were respected. She was only at the second level of the spirit cultivator realm. It seemed that she had to cultivate diligently in the future. Just as Yun Chuzhou was in a daze, Gold Face walked in with a trace of joy. "Little girl, our chief wants to see you. Whether you can live or not depends on this one time." "Thank you, brother Gold Face. I will seize this opportunity." Yun Chuzhou followed Gold Face to a luxurious palace. Yun Chuzhou could not help but curse in her heart. What kind of bullshit leader is he trying to be? A local emperor? He even built a palace. After the guard reported their arrival, Gold Face brought Yun Chuzhou into the palace. The palace was decorated very luxuriously. Yun Chuzhou was a little envious. TSK, the League of Assassins must be very rich. How awesome would it be if I could take control of it? A man wearing a black mask sat on the throne in front of her. He sized up Yun Chuzhou with a pair of malicious eyes and cackled, "Little girl, you are quite good-looking. I heard that you have some suggestions to share with me." Yun Chuzhou's heart sank. As the saying goes, appearances come from the heart. The League leader's eyes were full of bloodlust and ambition. He was not a person who was easy to get along with. The theory that she had mentioned would not be accepted, moreover, there was a hint of lust and evil in his eyes. It was better for her to escape as soon as possible. Yun Chuzhou said with a smile, "Greetings to the League leader. The League leader is indeed a peerless hero. My suggestions were not worth talking about. Initially, I thought that the League of Assassins was just trying to make money. Now that I saw the leader, I knew that I was wrong. The League's leader was obviously a person who did great things. Why would he care about mere money? Brother Gold Face, you should hurry up and take me to the client." Gold Face was stunned. Why did the little girl change her mind so quickly? "Killer 5, you can leave now. I will have a good talk with this little girl," the leader of the League said gloomily. Gold Face agreed and was about to leave. Yun Chuzhou was anxious. This damn League leader of the murderous gang did not have good intentions. She grabbed Golden Face's arm and said, "Well, leader, I have nothing to talk to you about. Brother Gold Face, please send me away." The man with the golden mask saw the pleading look in Yun Chuzhou's eyes. Although he was a little confused, he also felt a little reluctant. "Leader, how about," before the man with the golden mask could finish his sentence, the leader of the murderous alliance slapped the man's chest. "Who are you to question my decisions? Get lost. I admit my mistake. I will take my leave." Gold Face spat out a mouthful of blood and retreated. "Little girl, I didn't expect you to win the hearts of people in just half a day. No wonder that person wanted to take your life. You are so smart. Do you want to keep your life? Why don't you stay and be my slave girl?" The leader of the League of Assassins said with a lewd smile. Chapter 529, Could only rely on herself. "Thank you for your interest, Chief. I'll go and be a hostage instead. See you later." Yun Chuzhou saw that the situation was deteriorating and wanted to run. "You want to run? You overestimate yourself. You're lucky that I like you. Today, whether you agree or not, you will be my 190th little slave." The master of the League of Assassins jumped up from his seat and blocked the door. "Little thing, since you're so naughty, I'll play cat and mouse with you." The League's chief reached out to grab Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou quickly dodged and shouted desperately, "Brother Gold Face. Help. This fucking pervert wants to molest me." I'm a hostage. Come and save me. Yun Chujio was trying her best and didn't have any hope. After all, Gold-Face was a member of the League, why could he save her? As expected, no one came in. Yun Chujio continued to shout, "Are the people of the League of Assassins all inhumane bastards? Your fucking leader is a lecherous bastard. You have been bullied by him for so many years. Don't you want to kill him?" The leader could not help but laugh. "Little girl, you are dreaming. Do you want to turn my men against me? To tell you the truth, they have all consumed the poison specially made by my master. If they don't take my antidote on time, they will die." Seeing that no one came in, Yun Chujio gritted her teeth. It seemed that she could only rely on herself. Little Black, curse him. Yun Chujio saw an opportunity and used her consciousness to communicate with Xiao Hanyo. "You old tortoise, you dare of my molesting my master. Fall and die." Xiao Hanyo cursed. The leader of the League of Assassins was about to pounce on Yun Chujio when he stumbled and fell. Yun Chujio took this opportunity to rush out of the door. Gold-Face stood guard outside. When he saw Yun Chujio running out, Gold-Face hesitated for a moment but did not stop her. Yun Chujio was delighted and quickly took out a concealment talisman. After activating it, she ran out with all her might. Gold-Face saw Yun Chujio's figure suddenly disappear and could not help but be stunned. How did this little girl suddenly disappear? Could it be that she used a concealment talisman? Didn't she take a poison pill? How could she still use spiritual power? Moreover, the concealment talisman was extremely rare. How could she have gotten one? Bastard! Where is she? Why didn't you stop her? When the master of the League of Assassins ran out, Yun Chujio had already disappeared. Gold-Face struggled in his heart and said respectfully, "League Master, I thought you were playing games with the little girl, so I didn't dare to make a move." She ran to the bedroom. The League Master didn't doubt Gold-Face's words. In his opinion, these men didn't dare to deceive him. He said with a lewd smile, "Ran to the bedroom? You sure know how to choose a place. I'll teach her a good lesson." Gold-Face saw the League Master run to the sleeping quarters. He wiped the cold sweat on his head and left the palace. "Boss, how is it? Did the League Master agree with the little girl's suggestion? Why do you look like death? Did the League Master punish you again?" When the rest of the assassins saw Gold-Face come out, they surrounded him. Gold-Face waved his hand, indicating for everyone to stop talking and follow him. Everyone was puzzled and followed Gold-Face to his courtyard. After Gold-Face activated the isolation array, only then did he say, "I harmed that little girl. Although I know that the leader likes young girls, I didn't expect him to disregard the little girl's status and take her for himself. I wanted to take her away, but the Alliance leader slapped me. Fuck. The Alliance leader is getting more and more outrageous. How many things has the boss done for him? He can hit us whenever he wants and scold us whenever he wants. In his eyes, we are just dogs. It's a pity that that little girl will be used to death by the leader in a few days." Chapter 530, Long time no see, damn it. Condemning people to death with just a nod of the death. The leader's hobby is so damn disgusting. If it wasn't for the poison pill, I wouldn't have stayed in this damned place. Shut up. It's fine if you say this to me, but keep quiet when you get out. Be careful not to get yourself killed. Gold-Face shouted sternly. Everyone stopped speaking indignantly. One of the assassins asked curiously, "Boss, that little girl could really talk, but she just obediently gave in. Could it be that she didn't resist?" "That's right, that little girl seems to be quite smart, but she was defeated just like that." Gold-Face shook his head. "That little girl escaped, but strangely, she disappeared without a trace. She must have used a concealment talisman. What? Didn't she take a poison pill? How could she still have spiritual power? Besides, there are very few concealment talismans around, how could she have one? I don't understand it either, but that little girl did disappear in front of me. I couldn't bear to stop her, so I didn't. I even told the leader that she ran towards the sleeping quarters. Gold-Face recounted what had happened. Boss, the chief will soon find out that you lied. I'm afraid, you'll get in trouble because of her. That's right. Boss, quickly think of a way out of this. Otherwise, according to the chief's increasingly violent temper, he definitely won't spare you. Boss, they're right. Last time, just because a brother said something wrong, the chief beat him to death. I'm afraid you're doomed at this rate. Gold-Face smiled bitterly. What can I possibly do? Even if I escape now, the poison pill in my body alone will eventually take my life. After so many years, I have finally done something good. I hope that little girl can escape this. Boss, I'm afraid that your intentions are in vain. Although that little girl has a concealment talisman, our base has a protective field. There's no way she can get out. Even for us, if we don't have a token, we won't be able to get out either. Therefore, once the duration of her concealment talisman is up, she will definitely be discovered. Just as everyone was talking, someone shouted outside the courtyard, "Kill Commander Wu, the League Master wants you to go and see him." Boss, you can't go. The leader must have found out that you lied to him. That's right. Boss, according to the leader's personality, he will kill you. Boss, you can run. Gold-Face sighed, run. Where can I go? Didn't you guys say just it now? I can't get out of this protective array alone. Not to mention the poison in my body. Forget it, you guys take care of yourselves in the future. After Gold-Face said that, he removed the isolation field and walked towards the door. The assassins wanted to persuade him, but at that moment, the guard who was summoned by the door fell to the ground and died. There was a commotion. What was going on? Why was this person dead? Gold-Face was stunned at first, then he dragged the body of the guard into the courtyard and activated the isolation field. Little girl, come out. What are you doing? Gold-Face shouted. Boss, are you crazy? Who are you talking to? The assassins asked in confusion. Hee, hello brothers. Long time no see. A little girl slowly revealed herself and looked at everyone with a smile. Yun Chujio. Boss, she came at the right time. Let's capture her and present her to the leader. You can make up for your mistakes. The leader will spare you. Right. Capture her. Everyone, hurry up and do it before she uses the concealment talisman again. Chapter 531, My Prince Charming is very awesome. Wait. I have already shown myself. Are you still afraid that I will run away? I have something very important to tell you. Yun Chujia's small face suddenly became serious. The golden-masked man waved his hand at the crowd. Tell me. Are you really willing to be a tool for murder for the rest of your life? You don't want to get married and have children for the rest of your life? To live a life of looking up to others? Live a life of fear every day? Even if you capture and send me to that bullshit leader, do you think that he will spare Brother Gold-Face with that narrow mind of his? Sooner or later, he will kill Brother Gold-Face. Now, there is a great opportunity in front of you. As long as you listen to me, I promise to kill that bullshit leader of yours. It depends on whether you have the courage and determination to go all out. The aura from Yun Chujio suddenly changed. It was no longer the mischievous attitude from before. Instead, it was replaced by a murderous aura. Everyone was momentarily intimidated by Yun Chujio's aura. They actually seriously considered what Yun Chujio said. Little girl, of course we're not willing to be enslaved like this. However, what qualifications do you have to kill our leader? The golden-masked man's face was filled with doubt. To tell you the truth, my Prince Charming will soon bring people to surround this place. My Prince Charming is a rather formidable existence. Not to mention this bullshit leader, even if 10 of them were to join forces, they would not be a match for my Prince Charming. As long as we can hold on for another 4 hours, my Prince Charming will arrive with his men. What we need to do is to destroy the core of the protective array. Yun Chujio mentioned debeiming. She was extremely proud and looked as if she was honored. Everyone looked doubtful. Is this little girl bragging? Our master is at the 6th level of the Spirit Emperor realm. Is that Prince Charming of hers that powerful? Are you guys finding it hard to believe? My concealment talisman was given by my Prince Charming. If it were an ordinary person, would they have such an awesome item? Moreover, are you willing to accept a man coming into this world and living like a coward? Little girl, although what you said makes sense, and even if we killed the chief, we've all consumed the poison pill. If we don't have the antidote, we will die in a month. If that's the case, why should we continue to live? As the saying goes, better a bad life than a good death. Goldface smiled bitterly. TSK. It's just a poison pill. What's the big deal? Well, just force that bastard to hand over the antidote formula. Even if we can't find the antidote formula, my master, Elder Chi, is a pill refiner. I don't believe that we won't be able to do anything about this poison pill. Even if we can't cure it completely, we can still delay it for some time. When the time comes, we'll find some old friends to discuss it with. There will definitely be a solution. Moreover, even if it did not work out, there was still me. I'm a little expert in alchemy. I have said so much. You guys can consider it yourselves. Whether you want to continue living on your last breath or be an upright person, it's your choice. The gold-masked man smiled bitterly. The little girl is right. Even if I capture her and hand her over to the leader, he will not let me off. Since that's the case, I will take a gamble. As for you guys, you can consider it yourselves. I will not force you. Boss, since you've already said so much, well, follow you. At most, well, just die. Well, treat it as if we were killed while carrying out a mission. That's right. Boss, well, take our chances too. Sooner or later, we'll all die. Why not take our chances? We might really have to fight our way out. Chapter 532, The Location of the Array Core. Little girl, what should we do next? The Alliance leader will definitely send someone to rush me, Goldface asked. The most important thing now is to destroy the Array Core. Otherwise, the reinforcements from outside won't be able to come in. Now, let's split up into smaller groups. Goldface will bring me to the Array Core, and you guys will also go there separately. In order to differentiate you guys from the rest, you guys have to have some sort of mark. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes and took out 2 red scarves from her storage ring. She tore them into small strips and handed them to the gold-masked man and the assassins. How about this? Each of you tie a red scarf on your head to prevent my Prince Charming from accidentally injuring you. The corners of everyone's eyes twitched, but they still tied the red scarf on their heads. Yun Chujio nodded in satisfaction. With that, let's go. Goldface, you lead the way. I'll activate the concealment talisman and follow you. We have to speed up, lest that old bastard finds us. Goldface nodded. Everyone left the courtyard and followed Yun Chujio's instructions to disperse to the location of the Array Core. After a quarter of an hour, Yun Chujio followed Goldface in circles and arrived in front of a cave. There was a team of guards in front of the cave, and a total of 6 people. Yun Chujio could not see through the other party's cultivation, so they must be above the 2nd level of the spirit cultivator realm. After those people discovered the gold-masked man, the leader frowned. Commander Shawu, why are you here? Did the alliance leader give an order? That's right. He asked me to go in and check if the array disk is working properly. I see. Then let me have a look at the leader's token. Okay. Please step aside for a moment. The alliance leader has a secret order for me to pass on to you. The gold-masked man winked at the leader. That man thought it must be something good and immediately beamed with joy. Commander Shawu, you're too courteous. Alright, let's go over there and chat. When the two of them reached the hidden area, the man asked anxiously, Commander Shawu, what message does the chief want you to pass on to me? The chief wants you to accompany him underground. Before Goldface's voice had faded, Yun Chujia's rolling pin had already smacked that person's head open. Two of you, get here. Your leader doesn't look too well. Goldface shouted at the remaining 5 people at the entrance of the cave. 2 of them quickly ran over. Before they could figure out what was going on, one of them was smacked to death by the invisible Yun Chujio while the other was killed by Goldface. However, the commotion caused by the fight between the golden masked man and the other men alarmed the remaining 3 guards. Fortunately, Goldface's men already rushed over and killed the remaining 3 guards in no time. The 6 of you change into their clothes and stand guard here. The rest of you hide in the dark and act according to the situation. If that old bastard comes, there's no need to fight head-on. Save your strength. Yun Chujio kept the concealment talisman and revealed herself. After everyone nodded, Yun Chujio and Goldface entered the cave. Goldface, there are only 6 people guarding the formation's core. Isn't this too casual? Yun Chujio felt that something was amiss. The formation core was the most important thing, how could there only be 6 people guarding it? Goldface smiled bitterly. Of course not. There's a tier 9 purple-striped venomous python at the formation's core. Although you have the concealment talisman, the python is very sensitive to smell. I hope you'll be able to deceive it. It'll attract its attention in a while. You take the opportunity to destroy the formation disk at the eye of the formation. Goldface, take these demon beast corpses. Use them to attract the purple-striped venomous python's attention. Pay attention to your safety. It'll try to finish the battle as soon as possible. After Yun Chujio transferred the demon beast corpses to Goldface, she activated the concealment talisman again and followed Goldface into the cave. Chapter 533, Purple-striped venomous python. The 2 of them walked for some distance, and Yun Chujio smelled a strong fishy smell. Yun Chujio secretly cursed in her heart. This purple-striped venomous python is the same as the fire dragon in the fire cave. Both of them are unhygienic and smell disgusting. After some distance, there was indeed a huge array disc in front of them. Next to the array disc was a purple-striped venomous python that was hundreds of feet long. When it saw Goldface, it spat out a bright red core at him. The tier 9 spirit beast already had intelligence. Goldface cupped his fists at the python. Brother Python, the alliance leader sent me to check on the formation plate. I wonder if everything is normal. The python's eyes revealed a trace of disdain as it nodded its huge head. Brother Python, I think that with you guarding, no one would dare to come in and cause trouble. I have some fresh demon beast corpses here. Come over and I'll feed them to you so as not to dirty the formation plate. Goldface took out the wind blade deer's corpse from his storage ring. The striped python revealed a trace of arrogance as it quickly swam over and swallowed the wind blade deer's corpse. Yun Chujio took advantage of the opportunity and leaped up while the purple-striped venomous python was eating the wind blade deer, heading straight for the disc array. The python felt a wave of spiritual energy fluctuations and its vertical pupils revealed a trace of doubt. Goldface hurriedly threw the demon beast's corpse out continuously. The python's huge head looked around and saw that there was nothing unusual. Then, it continued devouring the demon beast's corpse. Yun Chujio jumped to the front of the formation plate and sized up the situation. This formation plate was the size of a millstone, and there were hundreds of high-grade spirit stones in the middle groove. She was very willing to kill the leader of the alliance for it. It was too late to dig out the formation plate, so she could only destroy it violently. Yun Chujio did not care about whether or not she would expose herself. She raised her right hand and struck the formation plate with lightning. Both the python and Gold Face were shocked. Gold Face thought to himself, he did not expect the little girl to have lightning root spirit. The information he gathered did not contain anything about the little girl's root spirit, and she had never used her spiritual power to attack in front of outsiders. This little girl's thoughts were really profound. However, why was the lightning struck by the little girl purple? Should it not be silver? The python was startled at first. Was there lightning in the sky? However, it quickly reacted. There was a cave wall blocking it, so it was impossible for lightning to strike. That meant that someone was destroying the disc array. The purple-striped venomous python flew into a rage out of humiliation. It spat out a large mouthful of poisonous fog at the gold-masked man. Although the gold-masked man was already prepared and held his mouth and nose, he still inhaled a little. Immediately, he felt nauseous and dizzy. Fortunately, the purple-striped venomous python was in a hurry to stop Yun Chujio, who was destroying the disc array, and did not continue to attack the man with the gold mask. Otherwise, he would definitely lose his life. Although the python could not see Yun Chujio, it used its huge tail to sweep around the disc array. Yun Chujio hurriedly dodged. The purple-striped venomous python smelled an unusual smell and spat out a large mouthful of poisonous mist toward Yun Chujio's direction. The purple-striped poisonous python swept its huge tail around wildly. No matter who it was, they would not be able to escape this python's poisonous mist. Prepare to die. At this moment, the gold-masked man who had slightly recovered could not help but feel his heart tighten. It was over. With such a huge mouthful of poisonous mist, the little girl definitely would not be able to dodge it. He had just inhaled a little bit of it and already felt dizzy and weak. This time, the little girl would not be able to keep her life. Chapter 534, Attacked from both sides. Just as Gold Face was feeling disheartened, he saw streaks of purple lightning striking the formation plate once again. From the looks of it, it seemed to be more concentrated than before. Gold Face was overjoyed. The little girl was actually not poisoned to death. It seemed that she was indeed quite capable. However, the purple-striped venomous python was enraged out of humiliation. It kept spitting poisonous fog toward the top of the formation plate. Yun Chujio could not help but be secretly happy. You stinky worm, you actually want to poison me to death. Dream on. Strange Grass could not be happier to swallow the poisonous mist now. It would be better if you spit more. This broken array was really sturdy. She just broke a small part of it even after striking it for such a long time. Forget it. It was better for her to take the spirit stones inside first and assess what to do after. Yun Chujio lowered the defensive spirit tool on her body and started to take the spirit stones in the groove. The purple-striped venomous python felt that its tail was in the way. A trace of cunningness flashed through its cold vertical pupils. It suddenly turned around and opened its mouth toward where Yun Chujio was. Yun Chujio smelled a stench and hurriedly dodged to the side. Several of the defensive spirit tools on her body were shattered in an instant. Yun Chujio's heart ached so much that she could not take it anymore. Damn you, you stinky bug. I went through a lot of trouble to get these. You actually destroyed a few of them. Just you wait, Little Black will take revenge. Even 10 years is not too late. Sooner or later, I will strike you into a dried python. Master, I will go out and lure this stinky bug away. Little Black said with his spiritual sense. No, it can spray poisonous fog. You can't withstand it, it's okay. There are only a few spirit stones left in this groove. I will get them out. Yun Chujio was about to take the remaining spirit stones when a huge fireball headed toward her. Little slave girl, I didn't expect you to have such a good tool like a concealment talisman. Unfortunately, this thing is useless to me. As long as you obediently come over and submit to me, I'll spare your life. Otherwise, I'll feed you to the purple-striped venomous python. The murderous alliance leader said as he kicked Gold Face, who was already poisoned by the python, to the stone wall at the side. He screamed and fell to the ground. No one knew whether he was still alive or not. There were still 3 spirit stones left and Yun Chujio would be done. She did not expect this old bastard to come in at this time. What bad luck. Fuck you, you old pervert. Old bastard. Go to hell. Yun Chujio waved her hand and a series of purple lightning struck the alliance leader. He dodged the lightning bolts and laughed evilly. Oh, it's a heavenly thunder root spirit. I can use it as a furnace. Little girl, you can't escape from me. The alliance leader said as he slapped Yun Chujio several times. The huge fireballs kept hitting Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio wanted to dig out the remaining 3 spirit stones, but the formation plate was covered by the python's huge body. She had no way to take out the spirit stones. Yun Chujio was now facing enemies from both sides. Needless to say, the leader of the League of Assassins was also gradually able to lock onto Yun Chujio's position with the scent of the damned python. When it saw that the poisonous fog was ineffective, it began to sweep with its tail. Fortunately, Yun Chujio had countless defensive spirit tools on her. Otherwise, she would have died a long time ago. Even so, with the passage of time, Yun Chujio's defensive spirit tools dwindled, but the python and the leader of the League of Assassins were unharmed. Little girl, you do have a lot of good tools on you, but you won't be able to hold on for much longer. Quickly come and beg for mercy. I will definitely dote on you. The leader had a lewd look on his face. Initially, he had only seen this little girl's delicate skin, but he did not expect her to have the heavenly thunder root spirit. What a pleasant surprise. Chapter 535, Imitating Someone Else's Signature Mark Crack. The jade pendant that Di Baiming gave Yun Chujio shattered. Yun Chujio's last defensive spirit tool was also gone. The effectiveness of the concealment talisman on her body had reached its limit. Yun Chujio gritted her teeth. In any case, that old bastard or that stinking worm could see her anyway, so she did not need to use a concealment talisman. Ha! Little girl, you don't have any defensive spirit tools left on you this time, do you? If you don't want to die, hurry up, kneel down and beg for mercy. Beg my *SS. Look at all my hidden weapons. Yun Chujio took out a few things. A big sack. Chili noodles. Fire talismans. Pepper noodles. Anything that could be used as a weapon was thrown out. However, these things were basically useless to the purple-striped venomous python or the leader of the League of Assassins. Instead, it made the leader laugh instead. Little girl, you are really naughty. What other good stuff do you have? Take all of them out. Yun Chujio could only rely on her agile skills to dodge the attacks of the purple-striped venomous python and the leader. Fortunately, he had bad intentions for Yun Chujio and ordered the python not to kill her. He did not use his full strength himself. Otherwise, Yun Chujio would have lost her life a long time ago. Just when Yun Chujio was about to be exhausted, dozens of people rushed in from outside the cave. They were the subordinates of Gold Face. Little girl, let's hold him off. Quickly destroy the formation array. The leader sneered, "You've really overestimated yourself. You're courting death." Seeing this, Yun Chujio quickly said with her spiritual sense, "Little Black, it'll distract the python at its head. You come out and burn the stinky long worm's anus with a fireball. Be careful, don't get poisoned. Furry, get the remaining 3 spirit stones." After Yun Chujio gave her instructions, she jumped onto the head of the python and cursed at it, "Stinky long worm, you ugly monster. You actually copied my signature mark, how shameless. Even if you have dragon scales on you, you're still a stinky long worm." The purple-striped venomous python was furious, and its huge head pounced toward Yun Chujio. Little Black saw an opportunity and threw a huge fireball toward the back of the python. The purple-striped python rolled on the ground in pain and naturally gave up the position of the disc array. Furry quickly used its claws to dig at the spirit stones inside. Yun Chujio continuously struck the head of the python with lightning while Little Black focused on burning the butt. The master and pet pair worked extremely well together. The back of the purple-striped venomous python was its weakest point. The fireball that Little Black spat out contained the power of lightning. After struggling for a while, the python just laid on the ground and did not move. Before Yun Chujio could catch her breath, she heard the leader of the League of Assassins cackling. "Little girl, you really have a lot of treasures. You and these little things belong to me. I will take you down even if I am tired." Yun Chujio found that the other assassins had been beaten to the point that they were all lying on the ground. The ground was covered in blood, and she did not know whether they were still alive or not. Yun Chujio could not help but feel guilty. If she was not incompetent, perhaps they would not have ended up in such a miserable state. If it were not for her low spiritual power, her cheap grandfather and the Yun family would not have been threatened. While Yun Chujio was in a daze, the leader of the League of Assassins jumped up and reached out his hand to grab Yun Chujio. Little Black quickly threw a fireball at him. "Damn it, you dare to bully my master. I will burn you to death." The man dodged Little Black's fireball and could not help but sneer, "A mere 6th-level spiritual beast dares to attack me. You're really courting death." As he spoke, he threw a fireball at Little Black. Little Black flew up to avoid the fireball. Yun Chujio also came back to her senses and attacked the leader with Little Black. Furry finally dug out the last spirit stone. Seeing that Yun Chujio was beaten to the point that she could not retaliate, she rolled her eyes and threw a sticky silk net at the man. Chapter 536, God will take care of you. For me, the leader of the League of Assassins was about to dodge Yun Chujio's lightning, but he did not expect his shoes to stick to the ground. Seeing this, Yun Chujio shot another round of lightning at him. Unfortunately, the man had a defensive spirit tool on him, so Yun Chujio's attack was blocked outside the spiritual energy shield. "Master, run! Let's run now!" Furry shouted. Yun Chujio gritted her teeth. She could only wait for the gigolo to come and save Goldface and the others. She would have to flee first. As soon as Yun Chujio ran out of the cave, she saw hundreds of assassins waiting not far away. Just as Yun Chujio was about to activate the concealment talisman, the man was already on her tail. Furry threw another sticky silk net at him. The leader took out a sword that was shining with a faint blue light and hacked at the sticky silk net on the ground. The sticky silk net was instantly cut into 2 pieces. Furry cried out in heartache, "Ah, my sticky silk net, I spent a long time weaving it. You old bastard, it'll scratch you to death." Furry jumped up and scratched the leader's face. He waved his hand, and Furry was sent flying with a whiz and fell to the ground with a crash. Seeing this, Little Black glared at the man and threw a fireball at him. How dare he bully Little Black's underling? He was courting death. The leader's patience was running out and he did not hold back anymore. He threw a palm at Little Black. Little Black could not dodge in time and was sent flying too. It landed heavily on the ground. It then fainted after a choking sound. Seeing that Furry and Little Black were still alive, Yun Chujio quickly ran over to check. How could the leader of the League of Assassins let go of such a good opportunity? He slapped Yun Chujio on the back and she spat out a mouthful of blood. Little girl, those trash and these two little things are already dead. Let me see what else you have up your sleeves. The man laughed wildly. This little girl is about to be mine. Yun Chujio put the little black bird and the ball of wool into the spirit beast pouch. She stood up and wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth with her hand. Her eyes were full of ruthlessness. Old bastard, do you think him finished just like that? Let's see who will die in the end. The man could not help but laugh strangely. Little girl, are you talking nonsense? Your defensive spirit tools have been exhausted, and your spirit pet is also finished. What other abilities do you have? Heaven's punishment. God will take care of you for me. If you don't believe me, just wait and see if God will strike you down with lightning. If you don't do justice, you will die. You old bastard, not only do you look down on human lives, but you don't treat your subordinates as human beings too. Not only do you make them take poison pills, but you also kill them as you please. People like you don't deserve to live in this world. Yun Chujio stood proudly, her small face full of determination. The leader of the League of Assassins threw his head back and laughed. Heaven's punishment. This little girl said heaven's punishment. Do you think that's funny? The assassins also laughed, but there was a trace of pity in some of their eyes. The words of this little girl really hit the nail on the head. The leader didn't treat us as human beings at all. Heaven's punishment. If the heavens really killed him, then the heavens were really just. The leader continued, what a big joke. If there's retribution, I would have already died thousands of times. Little girl, don't struggle fearlessly. Obediently submit to me, and you will suffer less. Otherwise, I will make you beg for death. Chapter 537, could actually command the heavenly lightning to strike people. Yun Chujio smiled faintly. You don't believe me? For someone as heartless as you, the heavens will not sit idly by. Haven't you heard of that saying? It's not that there's no retribution. When the time comes, good and evil will be recompensed in the end. Today is a good day for justice. The heavens will immediately take you in. Following Yun Chujio's words, everyone realized that the sky was gradually turning dark. Although it was already dusk, it was not supposed to be that dark yet. Everyone looked up and saw a thick and heavy dark cloud slowly drifting over. The dark cloud's heart was on the verge of collapse. It was bitter. Why did it draw the losing lot again? It did not want to deal with this scourge, and did not want to be scolded by her. Everyone was shocked. Could it really be the heavenly punishment? Was this dark cloud going to drop the heavenly thunder? The leader of the League of Assassins frowned, and then sneered, little girl, don't be so mystifying. It's just a coincidence. I've never believed in heavenly punishment. What's so strange about this cloud? It's just a rain cloud. Yun Chujio shouted at the dark clouds in the sky, little dark cloud, that old bastard said that you don't know shit except for the rain. Strike him. As long as you strike him, I won't scold you anymore. The man laughed and staggered back, little girl, you're really interesting. Who do you think you are? You even ordered the clouds to hit me. What a whimsical idea. Are you scared to death by me? Besides, this piece of cloud in the sky doesn't even look thick, and you think it can even strike lightning? What a joke. The dark cloud in the sky was furious. Damn it. It's fine if that little troublemaker Yun Chujio scolded me since I can't strike her to death. You old bastard, you actually dare to look down on me. I'll strike you to death. Rumble. Rumble. Several purple lightning bolts descended from the sky, and they were all aimed at the leader of the League of Assassins. The man did not even have time to react. Although the first lightning bolt was blocked by the spiritual energy shield formed by his defensive spirit tool, the dark clouds in the sky released 9 lightning bolts in a row to vent his anger. Even if one had reached the 9th level of the Spirit Emperor realm, he might not be able to withstand 9 lightning bolts, what was more the leader. The man was immediately turned into ashes. Only a storage ring was left, which Yun Chujio hurriedly put it away. Those assassins were scared silly. Some of the cowards were already kneeling on the ground, kowtowing and begging for mercy. Yun Chujio looked at them with a cold smile. Do any of you still want to taste the taste of lightning? If you don't want to, you can restrain the spiritual power of the other party in pairs, then tie them up with belts. I'll tie the last one up. A trace of doubt flashed in the eyes of a few assassins. The leader being struck just now might have been an accident. Since the leader was dead, it was a good opportunity for them to rise to the top. How could they be manipulated by this stinky little girl? Therefore, the few of them looked at each other and suddenly pounced on Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio waved her hand and shot out several bolts of lightning. Then, she shouted at the dark clouds in the sky, "Little dark cloud, strike them. Strike them hard. If you strike them well, I won't mock you anymore." The dark clouds in the sky thought for a moment. Fuck. Since I've already broken my precepts today, why not just strike them to my heart's content? I would have a greater sense of achievement. If I was reprimanded. I'll say that my eyesight has not been good recently and that I missed. Boom. Boom. Those unlucky fellows were instantly struck into ashes. The remaining assassins were trembling like chaff. Oh my God. This little girl was actually able to command lightning to strike people, it was really too horrifying. Chapter 538, The Industry Conscience of the Dark Clouds World. Yun Chujio saw that the assassins followed her instructions and were operating in groups of 2. Very quickly, their spiritual power was restrained and tied up with a belt. Yun Chujio also restrained the remaining assassin's spiritual power and tied it up with a belt. Only then did she let out a temporary sigh of relief. Yun Chujio looked at the dark clouds in the sky and said with a smile, "Little dark cloud, well done. Don't go yet. Stay with me for a while. Wait for my Prince Charming to come, then you can leave." The dark clouds in the sky turned pink. Oh my. That was the first time the dark cloud was praised by this little troublemaker. The cloud was a little embarrassed. Yun Chujio first released Little Black and Furry from the spirit beast pouch to check on their injuries. Furry was fine. Thinking about it, it was also fine when Yun Chujio beat it with a rolling pin in the Great Void Mystic Realm. It was just a fall just now, and it was indeed not a big deal. Furry was just too worried about the sticky silk net, and it was a little dazed from the fall. That was why it was in such a state. Little Black suffered serious internal injuries. Yun Chujio took out a blood-clotting pill with golden patterns and fed it to Little Black. She took one herself. Almost at the same time, the main gate of League of Assassins was breached. Di Biming and his men killed everyone like a god of death. However, they did not find any trace of Yun Chujio. They found an assassin who led them to the leader's palace, and they turned the place inside out but did not find anyone. It was not until the rumbling of thunder was heard that Di Biming and the others found the place. Anfeng rubbed his eyes when he saw the scene in front of him. Damn, is my eyesight bad? What the hell are the hundreds of people on the ground doing, tied up like dumplings? Even if they did not move, it would have taken a while for Miss Chiu to tie all of them up, right? How did she do it? Di Biming saw that Yun Chujia's mouth was still stained with blood. His eyes turned red. Black thing, who hurt you? Yun Chujio bared her white teeth. I've already killed him. Look. It's that little dark cloud in the sky who helped me. This is a rare conscience of the dark cloud world. He even waited for you to come. Little dark cloud, my idol is here. You can call it a day. Thank you so much. See you later. Yun Chujio waved her claws at the little dark cloud in the sky. The dark cloud in the sky was simply overwhelmed by the favor and floated away while trembling. Di Biming had a dumbfounded look on his face. This dark cloud struck the black thing and even has feelings for her. It actually saved the black thing. The things that had happened to her were something that he could never guess. Prince Charming, the people in the cave have helped me. Send someone to treat them. Although Yun Chujio had suffered internal injuries, she had consumed the blood-clotting pill with golden patterns, and secondly, the strange grass in her dantian had also played a miraculous role. Therefore, after a while, she became lively again. After treatment, Goldface's life was not in danger although his injuries were not light. A few of the others died, but most of them were still alive. Di Biming sent people to temporarily lock up the assassins who had their spiritual power restrained in the cave. He also activated the isolation array, preparing to interrogate them later. Yun Chujio felt that this was a relatively satisfactory result. Before she had the time to talk to Di Biming, she saw a large patch of dark clouds floating in the sky again. Yun Chujio was a little puzzled. This can't be right. I had a sudden inspiration just now and forcefully summoned the thunder tribulation. Why is it here again? I didn't do anything bad. Chapter 539, Do the dark clouds in the sky know me? Your spiritual power is limited. All of you, retreat into the cave. I will bear the heavenly punishment, Di Biming said to his subordinates. Your Excellency, you can't. It seems that the power of heavenly punishment isn't minor. You can't bear it alone. I'll bear it with you, Enfong said. Your Excellency, what Enfong said makes sense. Well, help you share the burden. It's better than carrying it all alone. Last time, you were seriously injured when you carried the heavenly thunder for Miss Chiu. This time, you can't take this lightly, an Een advised from the side. The other secret guards also expressed their support to share the burden. They fought so hard that their faces turned red. Yun Chujio raised her small claws weakly. What are you doing? Heavenly punishment? Why do you want heavenly punishment? How did you offend the damned heavens? Miss Chiu, we're from the Tianyuan continent. If we killed someone on the Qingxian continent, we would definitely be punished. After we rushed in just now, we killed hundreds of people. Heavenly punishment will definitely befall on us. The corner of Enfong's eyes twitched. Only Miss Chiu dared to talk about the heavens like that. She was really audacious. Yun Chujio was stunned at first, then she clapped with a smile. You don't have to fight anymore. Just let it strike me. Anyway, I haven't been struck for a long time and am feeling a little itch for it. Enfong and an Een were slightly better off, but the rest of the secret guards were dumbfounded. They had not recovered from what had happened just now. Their honorable sir brought them to Qingxian continent to save people. However, the scene just now made them feel that even if they had not come, the little girl would be safe. Also, why did the little girl seem to be talking to the dark clouds in the sky just now? The strangest thing was that the piece of dark cloud seemed to understand her. When it floated away, it seemed to be alive and kicking. What the hell? Right, what did the little girl say? Let the lightning strike her. It had been a long time since she was struck. She felt a little itchy for it. Was this little girl sick? Was she talking nonsense? Black thing, the heavenly punishment is here to strike us. If it doesn't strike us, it won't stop. Even if you want to be struck by lightning, they won't strike you, Di Biming explained. Yun Chujio curled her lips. TSK. Prince Charming, you've underestimated my ability to provoke the dark cloud. Just you wait and see. Stand a little further away and watch how I lure the lightning over. Di Biming was skeptical and his subordinates felt that Yun Chujio was spouting nonsense. They were all on high alert and were prepared to share some of the burden with their honored lord if the thunder came. Yun Chujio looked at the dark clouds in the sky. They looked quite big, but they were not very thick. It seemed that the heavens hated her a lot. Every time it sent someone to attack her, it seemed to be much thicker than this dark cloud. Hey! Dark clouds in the sky, do you know who I am? I'm the Yun Chujio that your dark cloud world hates the most. Do you want to strike me a few times to vent your anger? Yun Chujio stretched her neck and shouted toward the sky. The dark clouds in the sky trembled for a moment. The news had spread all over the dark cloud world that there was actually a monster in a low-level world like the Qingxian continent. After being struck several times, almost all of the heavy-duty dark clouds had been mobilized, but she was still not dead. Not only was she not dead, she was getting more and more lively. The dark clouds were really angered to death. However, on the way here, it had met dark cloud number 9. It seemed to be in a good mood. Could it be that it had gotten used to striking this little monster? Chapter 540, was fooled. Hey, what are you trembling for? I'm very kind. Besides, I didn't scold you. This is the first time I'm meeting you. Let's discuss something, shall we? Yun Chujio raised her head and said with a smile. No matter how the dark cloud looked at Yun Chujio, she looked like a little devil with horns on her head. The more it looked at her, the more Yun Chujio's smile became increasingly frightening. The dark cloud trembled even more violently. Yun Chujio took out the Phoenix Nirvana immortal handkerchief and tied it on her head. Then, she hooked her finger at the dark cloud in the sky. You're too timid. I didn't even threaten you. What are you afraid of? Well, aren't you here to strike people? You can strike anyone. Just strike my Prince Charming once, and keep the rest for me. Aren't you curious why the other clouds can't strike me to death? Don't you want to give it a try? When you see other clouds in the future, you'll have a common topic to talk about, right? What if you, little cloud, succeed in striking me to death? Come on, don't be polite. Strike me to your heart's content. The dark cloud in the sky was indeed stirred up by its competitive spirit. The little girl is right. If I don't give it a try, how would I know if it works? I don't believe that there's actually someone who can't be hacked to death. Boom! Boom! Several bolts of lightning struck Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio could not help but twitch her lips. These bolts of lightning were too thin. They could not be compared to the ones that struck her. The damn heavens really wanted to kill her that time. When the guards brought by Di Biming saw several bolts of lightning heading straight for Yun Chujio, they thought to themselves, it's over. This little girl will definitely be turned into ash. It was strange. Why did their revered lord act as if nothing had happened at such a critical time, and did not even help the little girl? After a moment, the bodyguards were dumbfounded. They saw that the little girl was not only unharmed, she was even more alive after being struck. Little dark cloud, you are indeed much weaker than the other clouds. This strike of yours is like scratching an itch. Did you drift over without having lunch? Or are you the most useless of all the dark clouds? Yun Chujio said disdainfully. The dark cloud in the sky was trembling. No wonder those clouds say that this little scourge can anger the clouds to death. This is a lesson. I don't believe in evil anymore. I must kill her today. Hack. 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 Strike. Strike. A quarter of an hour later, the dark cloud shivered and floated away. This baby is so bitter. This baby was tricked. I used all the thunder to hack Yunchujio, this scourge. I've totally forgotten about my mission and why I was there in the first place. This baby wants to die, so no one stop me. Yunchujio clapped her little hands and hugged Di Baiming's waist. Prince Charming, how is it? It's done. I did good, right? Yunchujio had a look that said, praise me. Praise me. Di Baiming's heart softened, but when he saw the trace of blood at the corner of Yunchujio's mouth, his face turned cold again. Black thing, come with me. I have something to say to you. Yunchujio followed Di Baiming and left, leaving behind a group of confused guards. Oh my God! That little girl's hands were dirty, and she left 2 black marks on our honored lord's clothes. Our honored lord actually did not shake off that little girl. Originally, we already felt that things were abnormal when our lord wanted to save a little girl. We didn't expect that our lord would finally be enlightened. Heavens, who said that our lord was gay? Who said that our lord was a good man? Open your damn eyes, our lord likes women. Chapter 541, Di Baiming admonishes little Jiu. Di Baiming took a deep breath and solemnly said, Black thing. There are some things that I didn't intend to say because I was afraid that you would be too shocked. But now it seems that if I keep quiet, I will end up harming you. You have always been opportunistic and relied on your words to take advantage of me. You also think that because you have the heavenly thunder spirit root and are smart, you can afford to be complacent and neglect your cultivation. Other than eating, drinking, and having fun all day, did you take cultivation seriously? Usually, you put your attention on reading those books and dealing with a few scumbags. Others went to the trials to increase their actual combat experience. Have you ever been there? Even in the trials of the Great Void Mystic Realm and the Wuwei Tower, you relied on external forces to win. When have you relied on your own abilities to win? Also, don't you know that you can't bite off more than you can chew when it comes to alchemy, formations, and talismans? You fiddle with everything, which one of them do you understand very well? Not only are you not good at it, but you also lack focus on one particular technique. If this continues, sooner or later, you will suffer a great loss. You even said that you want to protect the Yun family and look for your adoptive parents. What right do you have to say such words? Just like this time, if the people from the League of Assassins really intended to kill the Yun family members in front of you, do you have the ability to stop them? Yun Chujia's mouth was wide open and her face was filled with shock. Di Baiming's words were like an arrow that went straight to the heart. Di Baiming saw that Yun Chujio had been affected by his words and he couldn't bear it. However, for her to improve quickly, he had to make her change. Otherwise, sooner or later, something would happen. At this moment, he was very afraid. If the black thing didn't attract the heavenly thunder and if the heavenly thunder had not struck the League of Assassins leader as she said, then the consequences would be unimaginable. Yun Chujio was stunned. What the pretty boy said made sense. In her previous life, she had lived a hard life. In this life, she had thought that it would be easier, so she just wanted to muddle along. She felt that there was nothing wrong with that. Ever since she transmigrated, things had been going smoothly. Although there was a strange grass in her dantian that made her a little worried, whether it was in the Yun family or the Linghua sect, she had not met any powerful enemies other than a few scum. Even if she had offended Du Gai, however, with the Linghua sect as her backer, he did not openly dare do anything to her. Moreover, she had an awesome heavenly thunder spirit root. Even heavenly thunder could not kill her. She also had an immortal artifact like the rolling pin, so she felt invincible. She felt that cultivating amounted to nothing much. Anyway, she could easily level up without cultivating, so why was it so hard? Why would she not use external forces? It was both easy and convenient. However, this incident had alarmed her. If Gold-Face and the others did not have a trace of benevolence, not only would she have died, but even her grandfather and the others would have as well. The pretty boy was right. Only strength was the absolute truth. Only when she became strong enough could she protect the people she wanted to protect and live the life she wanted to live. Di Baiming sighed in his heart when he saw the changing expression on Yun Chujia's face. Although it was hurtful to say so, it was still better than waking up after tragedy had occurred. The expression on Yun Chujia's face gradually turned from confusion to determination. She smiled brightly at Di Baiming. Prince Charming, what you said makes sense. From now on, I will work hard and not waste any more time. Di Baiming nodded. He was very gratified. Although the black thing was usually a little mischievous, she was still very clear when it mattered. Yun Chuzhou continued, Prince Charming, let's go. Let's go search the League of Assassins' treasury. All the defensive spiritual artifacts on me have been destroyed. This time, I will get 180 defensive spiritual artifacts to hang on me. I will also search for some poison pills and talismans. In the future, if anyone wants to kill me, I will poison them to death. Di Baiming. Chapter 542, had a jade medallion engraved with spider lilies, hee, Prince Charming, I'm just joking with you. However, we still need to equip this thing when we need to. It's always good to have more life-saving methods. Let's go and ask those assassins which bastard wants to kill me. Di Baiming nodded and sighed in his heart. I'm afraid that the black thing's temperamental character will not change for the time being. I still need to urge her to cultivate more. Gold-Face had already woken up after taking the pill. When he heard Yun Chujia's question, he shook his head. The contract to kill you was personally ordered by the leader. We did not contact the buyer. The leader only gave us your information and told us to capture you and send you to Longping Mountain. The buyer would then pick you up there. Yun Chuzhou frowned and poured out all the things in the storage ring of the assassin's leader. There were a lot of spirit stones, a few spirit tools, a few bottles of pills, and a jade token with patterns engraved on it. This is the spider lily, right? Which force uses the spider lily as a symbol? Yun Chuzhou asked curiously. Di Baiming shook his head, I've never heard of any force using the spider lily as a symbol. Seeing that Di Baiming had never seen it before, Yun Chuzhou could only put away the jade token temporarily. Miss Yun, why don't we go to Longping Mountain? Maybe the buyer will wait there. Gold-Face suggested. Yun Chuzhou smiled and said, how is that possible? With such a big commotion here, the buyer will definitely have fled. However, we can try, but the chances of success are very small. Lend me your flying spirit tool. I'll get someone to go to Longping Mountain to check out the situation according to the agreed time. After Gold-Face nodded in agreement, Yun Chuzhou took out those pills for Gold-Face to identify. Gold-Face said with a wry smile, Miss Yun, apart from the poison pills, the rest are all antidotes that treat the symptoms but not the root of the problem. We need to take them once a month. They can't completely remove the poison from our bodies. Yun Chuzhou nodded. It's all right. There are quite a number of these antidotes. They should be able to last for a while. I'll take some and let Elder Qi take a look. He'll be able to identify the herbs inside. When the time comes, the right medicine will be able to remove the poison from your bodies. Gold-Face, there are still a few hundred people in the cave. I don't know much about them. I will leave you to decide whether to kill them or not. I will leave the League of Assassins to you. If you can accept any missions as guards in the future, you must inform me. I will hire you to protect the Yun family. Gold-Face was stunned. He never thought that Yun Chujio would be completely uninterested in the League of Assassins. He thought that even if Yun Chujio did not take over, the man who was known as His Majesty would also take over. After all, the League of Assassins was an infamous organization. If it were not for Di Baiming's warning, Yun Chujio would have taken over the League of Assassins. She had decided to focus on her cultivation, so she pretended to say that. However, she had shamelessly taken the League of Assassins leader's storage ring. The spirit stones in it probably amounted to half of the League's wealth. Miss Yun, you have done us a great favor. In the future, leave the guarding of the Yun family to us. As long as we are still alive, we will never let anyone hurt the Yun family. Gold-Face still felt like he was in a dream. The undefeatable chief in their eyes was really dead. In business, the expenses must be paid. Just give me a 20% discount. Big brother Gold-Face, please take care of the aftermath. We will leave now. If there is any news about the antidote, I will send someone to deliver the letter to you. But the first thing you need to do is pay for it. Chapter 543, Miss Jiu is really bold and unrestrained. Seeing that Yun Chujio insisted, Gold-Face could not say anything more. After chatting for a while, Yun Chujio and Di Baiming left the League of Assassins alongside their men. Di Baiming asked An Feng to deliver the letter to the Linghua sect and An Yin to bring a dozen of his men to Longping Mountain to guard it. He then brought the rest of his men and Yun Chujio back to the Yun family via flying spirit tools. Little Jiu, before Gold-Face and the others arrive, I will leave a few men to guard the Yun family. However, the spirit energy in Yi City is very thin. You'd better suggest that your grandfather move the Yun family to Linghua City. Linghua City is rich in spiritual energy and is also under the influence of the Linghua faction. It will be safer there, Di Baiming suggested. Yun Chujio blinked her starry eyes and looked at Di Baiming. My Prince Charming, I admire you so much now. Not only did you stop me from falling into the abyss of self-satisfaction, but you also considered so much for me. I love you so much. Di Baiming's secret guards were all dumbfounded and shocked. Oh my God. This Miss Jiu is really bold and unrestrained. We are too embarrassed to listen to these words. She is really too passionate. No wonder our revered one has been single for so many years. It turns out that she likes this bold behavior. None of the young ladies in the Tian Yuan continent are this fierce. Di Baiming's ears were sharp as he scolded, speak properly, what nonsense are you spouting? Hurry up and cultivate. Have you forgotten what you said? Yun Chujio pouted and said, I know. Humph, I'll definitely cultivate properly. It won't be long before I surpass you. When that time comes, I'll teach you a lesson. The shadow agents secretly curled their lips. Miss Jiu overestimated herself. They were at the 5th level of the exalted spiritual realm, and you? The 4th level of the spiritual enhancement realm. There's a huge difference between heaven and earth. Doesn't your face hurt when you say that? Yun Chujio started to meditate and cultivate while mumbling. She was used to being undisciplined. It was really difficult for her to just sit there all of a sudden. However, to not be bullied by others anymore, she had to go all out. Di Baiming saw Yun Chujio had started to cultivate obediently and felt a little gratified in his heart. The Black Thing's talent was amazing. As long as she cultivated diligently, she would be able to enter the Tian Yuan continent very soon. When that time comes, we will be able to get along day and night. When Di Baiming thought of something, his face turned hot. He could not help but look at Yun Chujio. When he saw her, he was so angry that his nose almost went crooked. He saw Yun Chujia's little head slowly falling asleep. The only person who could fall asleep during cultivation was Yun Chujio, this heartless person. Di Biming thought about it. Black Thing was exhausted from the day. She should not be in a hurry to succeed. She should take it slow. Di Biming took out a blanket from his storage ring and spread it out. After that, he gently carried Yun Chujio and placed her on it. The next morning, Yun Chujio and Di Biming arrived at the Yun family home. The Yun family was in a state of misery. Yun Xiaoshan's white hair turned white overnight, and he seemed to have aged 10 years. Grandfather. Grandfather. Little Jiu, embark. Yun Xiaotian thought he was hallucinating and asked housekeeper Ji in a trembling voice, "Old Ji, did you hear little Jiu's voice?" "I heard it. I heard it too. Miss Jiu must have returned safely." Housekeeper Ji said excitedly. "Quick! Quick! Follow me out to take a look." Just as Yun Xiaotian finished speaking, the door was pushed open, and a bright and beautiful little person jumped in. "Grandfather! Little Jiu is back." Chapter 544, Isn't Your Master Very Ugly? When Yun Xiaotian saw that Yun Chujio had returned unscathed, he wept and said, "Good. Good. Little Jiu is still alive. The heavens really have eyes." When Yun Chujio saw that Yun Xiaotian had aged so much in one night, her heart ached. "Grandfather. It's all little Jiu's fault. I will not be naughty in the future. I will cultivate well so that no one will dare to bully our Yun family. I will also find my father and mother to come back and show respect to you." When Yun Xiaotian heard Yun Chujia's words, he hugged Yun Chujio and cried bitterly. "Master, Miss Jiu is back. You should be happy. Besides, there are still guests here." Housekeeper Ji consoled. Yun Xiaotian used his sleeve to wipe his tears. Only then did he realize that an imposing young man was standing at the door, so he asked Yun Chujio, "Little Jiu, this is?" "Ah, this is my man, my master. He was the one who smashed several doors of our Yun family." Yun Chujia's face turned slightly red and revealed a rare shy side to her. Yun Xiaotian was slightly stunned. "Little Jiu, I remember that you told grandfather that your master is very ugly. He has scarred eyes, a nose like garlic, and a toad's mouth. This young man is so handsome, how could he be your master?" Yun Chujio wanted to stuff Yun Xiaoshan's mouth shut. "Grandfather, you are trying to kill me. The pretty boy will not let me off this time." Di Biming raised his eyebrows and secretly gritted his teeth. "Very good, Black Thing, just you wait. You are not afraid of getting even with me. I will deal with you later." Yun Chujio quickly made up for it. "Grandfather, are you old and have a bad memory? I clearly said that my master is handsome, beautiful, and looks better than Pan Yu." Yun Xiaotian saw that Yun Chujia's eyes were twitching, and he laughed dryly, "Ah, yes. Yes. My old bones have such a bad memory. Young master, don't take it seriously." Di Biming bowed to Yun Xiaotian as a junior and said with a faint smile, "Senior, there's no need to worry. I know little Jiu's character very well. I won't blame her." Yun Xiaotian glanced between Di Biming and Yun Chujio and immediately understood the relationship between the two of them. What bullshit! Were the two of them getting together? "Grandfather, it's all thanks to this man. Ah, the young Master Di saved me. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have been able to see you." Yun Chujio quickly changed the topic. Yun Xiaotian saw that Yun Chujio showed a rare look of a shy little girl and didn't expose her, so he asked about the incident. Yun Chujio was very excited as she told Yun Xiaotian about what happened. In short, she pushed all the credit to Di Biming and simplified the things that she had gone through so that Yun Xiaotian would not be worried. Yun Xiaotian heard Yun Chujio's words and had a very good impression of Di Biming. Not only was he a good-looking person, but he was also very good to little Jiu. He could try to matchmake them. Grandfather, I've thought about it. You should move the Yun family to Linghua City. You don't have to worry about the expenses. I have plenty of spirit stones now. Firstly, the spiritual qi is much denser than Yi City. Secondly, it's in Linghua sect territory. It's also safer there. Most importantly, it's close. My brothers and sisters can often go back to see you. Well, what you said makes sense, but the old house is left behind by our ancestors after all. Grandfather, at most, we can leave a few servants to guard it. We're not selling it. If you want to come back and take a look, he'll stay with you for a few days. Let grandfather think about it again. You haven't had lunch yet, right? Let's have lunch first. Tomorrow, grandfather will make my decision. Chapter 545, What's His is Mine. Yun Chujio and Di Biming came to the small courtyard where Yun Chujio used to live. The courtyard was already cleaned up. Chun Yu was so happy when she saw Yun Chujio that she cried. Yun Chujio comforted the little girl and sent her out to get some tea and pastries. Prince Charming, do you have any emotions when you visit the old place again? Yun Chujio asked playfully. The corner of Di Biming's mouth curled up. He also recalled some of the past events. At that time, he wished he could smash the black thing to death to refine medicine. He did not expect that his heart would actually be moved in the end. The two of them were silent for a moment, but their feelings were slowly developing. It was not until Chun Yu brought over tea and pastries that Yun Chujio's face turned slightly red. She coughed dryly. My Prince Charming, this jade token is marked with spider lilies. No matter how I look at it, it's very strange, said Yun Chujio to Di Biming as she took out the jade token with the spider lily pattern. It is indeed somewhat unusual. However, since the person who wanted to kill you hired someone to kill you instead of personally taking action, it seems that he still has some reservations. As long as you take some precautions and don't give the enemy an opportunity, there won't be any danger for the time being. Di Biming was afraid that Yun Chujio would be too worried, so he comforted her. Yeah. You dare try to kill me? When I return to the Linghua sect, I will cultivate properly. When I find out who did it, I will kill him. Yun Chujio said angrily. This matter could be considered to be the biggest loss she had suffered since she transmigrated. Little Jiu, remember what you said. If I find out that you've been lazy, I won't forgive you. The corners of Di Biming's mouth curled up. The little black thing's unyielding look was really, yes, quite pleasing to the eye. The next morning, Yun Xiaotian decided to move to Linghua City, and the entire Yun residence got to work. The next morning, the members of the Yun family rode on Di Biming's flying spirit tool and rushed to Linghua City. Little Jiu, the houses in Linghua City are not cheap. If it doesn't work out, we will buy a smaller one. In any case, grandfather didn't bring many people here. Yun Xiaotian sighed inwardly. These years, the Yun family had accumulated quite a lot of silver. However, after arriving at Linghua City, the money was like small change. Yun Chujio was about to speak when Di Biming said with a faint smile, Senior, you don't have to worry. I have already arranged for my men to buy a new piece of property. You can stay here for now. If you are not satisfied, we can change it in the future. Yun Xiaotian was stunned. Is this fine? It's really, grandfather, you don't have to be polite with him. What's his is mine is still mine. Using his spirit stones is no different from using mine. You can just stay there. Yun Chujio felt that the pretty boy was really doing a lot for her, she was really satisfied. When Yun Xiaotian saw this, he could only say a few polite words. It could be considered that he had received Di Baiming's good intentions. As soon as they entered Linghua City, An Feng came over to welcome them and brought them to the newly bought house. The house was not only spacious and grand but it was also located in the bustling area of Linghua City. Yun Xiaotian was extremely satisfied, and the more he looked at Di Baiming, the more satisfied he became. It was not because this house was valuable, but because this kind of affection towards little Jiu was truly rare. The Yun family had just settled down, and An Yin had returned. As expected, nothing was found there. The buyer must have heard the news and did not show up. Just as Yun Chujio was about to return to the Linghua sect, Goldface arrived. Miss Yun, when we were searching the League leader's bedroom, we made an important discovery. Yun Chujio was very curious. What discovery? Chapter 546, Eye of the Earth, we found the real leader of the League of Assassins. It turns out that all the leaders we've seen over the years are all fake. Goldface unveiled the bad news. What? There's such a thing. Then is the true leader of the League still alive? Yun Chujio asked in surprise. Although he's still alive, he was tortured until he was no longer human. The reason why the fake leader didn't kill the true leader was to interrogate him about a secret of the League of Assassins. The true leader resisted the torture and didn't reveal anything, that's why he's still alive. Goldface sighed. Then when was your true leader captured? 8 years ago. Then didn't you find any clues? Miss Yun, we also suspected that in recent years, the fake leader not only made us take poison pills but also made us more violent. Most importantly, he even played with some young girls. We thought that it was the leader's cultivation that caused his temperament to change. We didn't think that he was a fake. The 3 rules of your league were also set by the true league leader, right? Yun Chujio asked. Goldface nodded. This rule was indeed set by the true league leader. Perhaps the fake league leader was afraid of being exposed, so he kept them as they were. No wonder. Initially, when I heard these 3 rules, I thought that the leader of the League of Assassins was a decent person. I didn't expect him to be an old bastard. Turns out he was a fake. Yun Chujio initially decided to try to talk to the leader of the League of Assassins because of these 3 rules, who would have thought that he was a fake. Yun Chujio did not ask what secret the fake leader of Goldface wanted to know. The secret that the real leader had risked his life to protect must be very important to the League of Assassins. Unexpectedly, Goldface took the initiative to say, Miss Yun, our real leader is grateful to you for saving the League of Assassins. He asked me to tell you that the thing that the fake League leader wanted to know about was the Eye of the Earth. Yun Chujio was at a loss. What the hell was the Eye of the Earth? Di Baiming was shocked. He explained to Yun Chujio, every continent has an Eye of the Earth. The Eye of the Earth continuously sends out qi. The spiritual qi is formed from the qi of the Eye of the Earth. The Eye of the Earth contains a huge amount of energy. If a person cultivates in it, he will have an astonishing cultivation speed. However, if the Eye of the Earth is destroyed, then the entire continent will lose its qi. Ah, what the fuck? That fake leader's intentions were larger than we thought. Then he isn't alone. This jade token with the spider lily should be the sigil of that organization. Could it be that they want to destroy the Azure Mystic Continent? Yun Chujio said in shock. Di Baiming's brows furrowed tightly. Since this organization's plans were so grand, it was likely that they weren't from the Azure Mystic Continent. Then where did they come from? Does your leader know the location of the eye of the earth? Yun Chujio asked curiously. Gold-Face shook his head. He smiled bitterly. Our leader doesn't know at all. He has been lying to that fake leader to save his life. I don't know why that person thinks that our true leader knew about the eye of the earth. Our League of Assassins has met with an undeserved calamity. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. It was not as if the true leader did not know about it. However, after this incident, she had become more cautious, so she naturally denied it. However, she was not interested in the eye of the earth. Whether or not he knew about it had nothing to do with her. However, the power behind this must not be underestimated. However, she did not know if the person who hired the fake leader to kill her was related to this power. Chapter 547, I will stay behind to supervise you. After Gold-Face left, Di Biming said to Yun Chujio solemnly, it seems that the matter is much more serious than we thought. The faction behind the fake leader is very powerful. You must immediately return to the Linghua sect and inform Master Shenyuan about this. Let him join forces with the other factions to investigate this matter thoroughly. Yun Chujio nodded and bade farewell to Yun Xiaotian before returning to the Linghua sect. Yun Chujio told Master Shenyuan about what had happened with the fake league leader, and Master Shenyuan was also shocked. I've only heard of the eye of the earth. Its location is very secretive. Some say it's in the heart of the 10,000-year-old ancient tree, some say it's in the nest of 10,000-year-old demon beasts, and some say it's on the seabed of the deep sea. In short, for tens of thousands of years, no one has known the location of the eye of the earth. Just what kind of force is so bold and reckless to want to involve the eye of the earth? They would make an enemy out of the entire Azure Mystic continent. Master Shenyuan said angrily. Master Shenyuan, this matter is of great importance. I suggest that you try your best to let a limited number of people know about this matter, and then use some roundabout methods during investigations. Di Biming suggested. Master Shenyuan nodded. Young Master Di, what you said is right. I will discuss it with the other 3 sect leaders and then decide on the next step. Little Jiu, since the true culprit has not been found, don't leave the Linghua sect for the time being. Yun Chujio nodded. Master Shenyuan, don't worry. I have already decided. From now on, I will work hard and cultivate. Master Shenyuan deeply doubted what little Jiu just said. This little girl couldn't stay idle at all. How could she spend time cultivating in the courtyard? As long as she doesn't cause trouble for me, I will be satisfied. Yun Chujio saw Master Xuanyuan's doubtful look and immediately became angry. Master Shenyuan, do you not believe that I can do it? Humph. Let's wait and see. I will make sure that the back mountain of Middle Peak is struck by lightning from time to time. Master Shenyuan reacted for a moment before he understood what Yun Chujio meant. This fellow would be struck by lightning once he advanced. If he was struck by lightning from time to time, he would continue to advance. Master Shenyuan couldn't help but laugh. Then I will be waiting for the good news. Go back and cultivate properly. I have to inform the other 3 masters about the eye of the earth. Yun Chujio left the jade token with the spider lily engraved on it to Master Shenyuan. Then, she hopped back to her courtyard with Di Biming. Yun Chuzi and the others were waiting at the entrance of the courtyard. When they saw Yun Chujio, they couldn't help but feel excited. Yun Chujio's small face was very serious as she said, brothers and sisters, this matter has rung a warning bell for us. We have to hurry up and cultivate. From now on, if the sect has a suitable trial mission, we have to participate. We can quickly increase our combat experience and also increase our spiritual power that way. Yun Chuzi and the others nodded. This matter had dealt a huge blow to them, especially when they watched Yun Chujio being taken away, but they were powerless. That kind of helplessness, the feeling of incompetence, was painful to the bone. After Yun Chuzi and the others left, Di Baiming said, "I have nothing else to do for the time being. I will stay here to supervise your cultivation. If you participate in the trial, I will also follow you. Firstly, I will ensure your safety. Secondly, I will prevent you from taking advantage of others. During the trial, firstly, you are not allowed to use defensive spirit tools, secondly, you are not allowed to use spirit pets, and thirdly, you are not allowed to use poison talismans. You must use your skills and spiritual power to win." Yun Chuzhou suddenly felt her future fade away. Chapter 548, Yun Chujia's guarantee. Black thing, what's with that expression of yours? Have you forgotten what you said? Di Baiming raised his eyebrows and questioned Yun Chujiu when he saw that she looked like she had nothing to live for. "Prince Charming, you've misunderstood. I'm touched. You've done your job well. You've worked so hard for my sake," Yun Chujiu said flatteringly. Di Baiming frowned. Why did the last sentence sound so awkward? "My Prince Charming, let's eat first. I'll start cultivating right after we finish eating. I'll keep my word." Yun Chujiu quickly changed the topic. After the two of them finished their dinner, Yun Chujiu blinked her eyes and said, "My Prince Charming, my defensive spirit tools have been broken by that fake League of Assassins leader. Give me a few more for self-defense. I promise I won't use them up." Di Baiming also felt that it was necessary to give her a few defensive spirit tools. If she encountered a strong enemy, she would have an extra life-saving method, so he said, "I'll ask an Een to go back tomorrow and get a few for you. You can cultivate in peace first." Yun Chujiu nodded her head happily and began to cultivate bitterly. It was easy to go from frugality to extravagance, but not vice versa. After sitting for a while, Yun Chujiu felt that her legs were sore, her arms uncomfortable, and even her hair felt itchy. Prince Charming, can I rest for a while?" Yun Chujiu asked pitifully. "It's only been 2 hours, why should I rest?" "Continue. If you continue to be noisy, you won't be sleeping tonight." Di Baiming glared at her. Yun Chujiu pursed her lips and could only continue to cultivate. From this day on, Yun Chujia's miserable days began. Other than eating and sleeping, she spent all her time cultivating. If she slacked off for even a moment, Di Baiming's knife would fly towards her. Di Baiming saw that Yun Chujiu was still slacking off from time to time, and in a fit of anger, he forced her to write a letter of apology. Yun Chujiu pouted and wrote a letter in a carefree manner. Then, she threw it to Di Baiming arrogantly. "Take it." Di Baiming looked at it and was furious. This fellow was indeed a repeat offender. After the 3 big words of the letter of apology, it was 0000001 again. "Dear Prince Charming, I promise that I will be conscientious and diligent in the future. I will cultivate according to your arrangements every day. Although such inhuman cultivation will seriously affect my growth and development and hinder my beautiful curves, to make Prince Charming feel at ease and make me stronger, I will definitely cultivate well. Secondly, I promise that I will not be complacent in the future and will not take advantage of opportunities. I will be an honest person and do things conscientiously. If I cannot do the above 2 points, I will willingly accept my Prince Charming's scolding and domestic violence. Guarantor, little Jiu has been tortured to the point where she has nothing to live for." When Di Baiming saw the growth and beautiful curves, he naturally thought of the sentence that Yun Chujiu once said, "Use your chest to suffocate you." He could not help but feel a little hot all over his body. He shouted angrily, "What kind of nonsense is this? Continue to cultivate." Yun Chujiu pouted and could only continue to cultivate. Yun Chujiu was a person who muddled along. However, Once she became serious, even she scared herself. In less than half a month, she was going to break through again. Ha! I am now at the 4th layer of the spirit cultivator realm. I wonder how many layers I will break through this time. A genius is indeed a genius. As long as you work hard, you will improve rapidly. Some people are useless even if they are jealous. Yun Chujio glanced at Di Biming. Di Biming sneered, "Black thing, are you going to slack off again? Do you need me to take out your apology letter so that you can recall what you said?" Chapter 549, Yun Chujio's life was hanging by a thread. Yun Chujio immediately became listless. She pouted and said, "You have to praise me for my good performance, right? If you continue to hit me like this, I will lose my confidence." Di Biming snorted coldly and ignored her. Di Biming thought to himself, even if all the people in Qing Xian continent had lost their confidence, you would not. Your self-confidence is limitless. Seeing that Di Biming ignored her, Yun Chujio cursed Wu Yun dozens of times. Seeing that the dark clouds in the sky had already floated over, she hopped towards the back mountain of Zhongfeng. Di Biming was worried, so he followed her. "Prince Charming, don't worry. I'm used to being struck by lightning. Even if I don't get struck every other day, I still feel like I'm lacking something," Yun Chujio said with a smile. Di Biming was not too nervous. Seeing that Wu Yun was not too heavy, he probably just wanted to leave after a few strikes. Yun Chujio looked up. Wasn't this the Wu Yun that helped her to fight the fake league leader? She waved her hands at the sky with a smile. "Hey! Little Wu Yun, long time no see. Did you miss me? I missed you a lot." The dark clouds in the sky shook slightly, as a greeting to Yun Chujio. "Come on, little Wu Yun, strike me. You know that I'm a little scourge that can't be killed by chopping. You don't have to waste your energy. Just strike me a few times as a token. You should go back as soon as possible after chopping me. You might be able to make it in time for lunch." Yun Chujio stood there casually. "Wu Yun," she said to the dark clouds in the sky. The dark clouds in the sky had already formed a friendship with Yun Chujio. As expected, they just casually struck Yun Chujio a few times and floated away. The corner of Di Biming's eyes twitched. Could this Wu Yun have been infected by something? It's a perfectly fine cloud. If you don't float away, why are you still jumping up and down? TSK, this is indeed a familiar cloud that's easy to handle. It's done so easily. In the future, as long as this little Wu Yun comes to attack me, won't I be able to do it so easily every time? It seems that if other clouds come to attack me in the future, I have to have a good relationship with them too. Prince Charming, guess how many levels I've leveled up this time? Yun Chujio asked proudly. Damn, my efforts have finally paid off. All these days of suffering had not been in vain. 2 levels. Di Biming raised his eyebrows. TCH. Can a genius like me be so weak? 3 levels. I am now at the 7th layer of the spirit cultivator realm. Ha! Yun Chujio's words came to an abrupt stop. Her eyes rolled and she actually fainted. Di Biming was shocked and quickly grabbed Yun Chujio's waist. Yun Chujio's face turned extremely pale, and it was as if all of her life force had suddenly disappeared. Di Biming's eyes were blood red. He trembled as he placed his hand on Yun Chujio's pulse. Fortunately, although Yun Chujio's pulse was very weak, she was still alive. Di Biming was helpless at this moment. He had already given Yun Chujio the only chaos vitality pill he had last time. Although he had a lot of pills with him, he was afraid that the medicine would not be right and would end up harming Yun Chujio. Di Biming carried Yun Chujio like a madman and went to find Elder Qi. Elder Qi, who was studying the antidote of the League of Assassins, was shocked. After checking Yun Chujia's pulse, his face turned pale. She is neither poisoned nor injured, but the life force in her body is fading rapidly. I'm afraid she won't last for more than 3 days. After receiving the news, Master Xianyuan rushed over with a group of elders. Although everyone was anxious, they could not find the reason why Yun Chujio suddenly fainted. Chapter 550. There was a stalk of grass in her dantian. Di Baiming looked at the pale-faced Yun Chujio on the bed. The dull pain in his heart was as sharp as a knife. Just a moment ago, she was still showing off to him. How did she suddenly become like this? Young Master Di, did little Jiu have any hidden illness in the past? Elder Qi could not find the cause of Yun Chujia's illness and was also sweating profusely. Di Baiming's expression changed. Could it be the strange grass in the Guai Chao's dantian? Last time, it was because of the fight between the Guai Chao and the Great Void Mirror that the Guai Chao was in unbearable pain. Could it be that the Guai Chao was behind this again? Elder Qi, if there is a foreign object in the dantian, can it be taken out? There is a foreign object in the dantian. How is that possible? A person's dantian is extremely fragile. Even the slightest mistake in cultivation could cause cracks to appear in the dantian, let alone a foreign object. If the dantian is destroyed, then this person's cultivation will come to an end. What if there really is a foreign object? Di Baiming also felt that this situation was inconceivable. However, there was indeed a foreign object in Black Thing's dantian. Fuck, it wasn't just one, but two. Even if this situation really exists, it can't be taken out. Unless the dantian is taken out through a rupture of the abdomen, then this person will become a cripple and won't be able to cultivate for the rest of his life. Elder Qi was suddenly stunned, then, he looked at Yun Chujio who was lying on the bed in fear. Young Master Di, do you mean to say that there is something in little Jio's dantian? Di Baiming swept his gaze across the room. Seeing that everyone in the room was trustworthy, he said in a low voice, that's right. There is something growing in little Jio's dantian. A blade of grass. I suspect that it is because of that little Jio became like this. What the hell? Everyone in the room felt that the young Master Di was most likely crazy. What was he talking about? There's a blade of grass growing in little Jio's dantian. Fuck, did you think that it was a field? There's even a blade of grass growing. This was ridiculous to the extreme. Young Master Di, is what you said true? Elder Qi also felt that this young Master Di was most likely too upset and was starting to talk nonsense. It's true. There is indeed a stalk of grass in little Jio's dantian. I wonder if there is a way to take it out. Elder Qi shook his head like a rattledrum. Young Master Di, I've already said that it isn't possible unless we cut open her abdomen and take out her dantian. If that's the case, even if we succeed, little Jio won't be able to continue cultivating. Di Baiming also knew that this information was difficult to process. After all, in the past tens of thousands of years, there was only one exception when it came to growing grass in one's dantian. He nodded. You guys can go back first. I want to be alone with little Jio for a while. Elder Qi thought to himself that this was his room. However, he knew that Di Baiming's heart was in a mess, so he did not say much and followed everyone out. Di Baiming held Yun Chujia's cold little hand. Little Jio, didn't you say that you're a little troublemaker who can't die? Didn't you say that you're the most powerful? I still have 100 of your supreme-grade spirit stones here. If you don't wake up, I'll take it for myself. You can't bear to let me do that, right? If you can't bear that, then quickly wake up. Di Baiming did not know what he was talking about. He could only keep talking so that he would not think about what would happen if the black thing never woke up. He could only keep talking so that he would feel that the black thing was still alive. Even though Di Baiming's voice was hoarse, Yun Chujio still showed no signs of waking up. Moreover, her pulse was getting weaker and the vitality in her body was rapidly draining. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.